So, welcome to iCast Summon Friends. Hopefully you've tuned in some of the other episodes, but if not, I'll give you a quick summary. But essentially, we're looking today at the story of Buruk, Ravenous, Lyroon, Hala, and Nanto. I've got it up on this screen today, so I'm going to be awkwardly looking to my right. But yeah, Buruk, there's a hobgoblin. Ravenous, this blue-skinned tiefling, Lyroon, elf, Nanto, the warforged in
Wood
bright.
elf, thank you very much.
Sorry, wood elf. Can you actually tell Can you tell type of elf by looking at them?
You can tell them by the accent.
Look. A wood elf can. I wouldn't expect some measly human to be able to understand the sophisticated differences. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can always tell a high elf because of the attitude.
And you
Yes.
can tell a wood elf by the smell.
And you can always
There's
There's
angled-
And you can of course always tell the sea elf by the gills.
Because like the high elves always go like they always end their sentences with like oh.
And
something that you wouldn't understand.
and then we have Hala, our kobold, our resident kobold. And it's been a pretty eventful couple of episodes. So what happens? I think about 3 episodes ago, Hala came to the group basically saying one of the gladiators in the arena had disappeared, and from what they had heard from Michaelo, which is everyone's favourite urchin, was basically that he had seen her getting captured, held personed, and then thoroughly stabbed up a bit and then taken away by 2 of the Dagford Dalliances, which are Lord Flashart's adventurer group. The party set out to go have a look, see what they could find out. They're able to arrange for a circumstance where Lord Flashheart would be out of his manor, competing in an arena battle. But while they were waiting for that to happen, they went out to Shroot Farms to go see what they could find out. And there they did find some evidence of wrongdoing. They found poor Fiverwick trapped and tortured in a basement, and pretty much, I mean, he was never particularly with it, but now he's utterly not with it, or at least for the last little while that you've been hanging out with him. You went and visited Duchess Morwyn of Daggerford and explained the situation. She's given you a writ, permission to investigate in this, but not to just go breaking and entering. Then you met up with the Lieutenant Captain. That's the official title now. And we got official art for him, which is good. Who had sorted you out with there being no guards around Lord Flashart's manor while you go investigate. So he can just get you in, but you can at least make sure there's going to be no trouble while you get in. Meanwhile, Ravenous and Hala went to go hang out with one of the servants who works in Lord Flashart's manor, a keen arena fan called Dorif. Who was very, very excited to meet 2 of his favourites from the arena and share some questionable beverages with them.
I just remembered that I promised him a date.
You did.
Yep.
I just remembered.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to be a very busy day for you guys.
Bring your breath mints.
Because
That's all assuming we
I'll
survive
get
until
my
tomorrow.
wet dog spray so that there's repelling as possible.
So from previous episodes as well, what you've set yourself up for tomorrow is that you've got an arena fight, because Lord Flashheart was meant to fight in the arena tomorrow, but it got brought forward to today, so he'd be out of the manor. You've also got to meet up with the Crimson Cleavers contact, which I won't go into the full detail behind right now. But suffice it to say, there's going to be someone looking to meet with a contact, and you need to be there with your hat disguise on to meet with them. And also, Ravenous has got a date. Was there anything else that you need to do tomorrow? Also, Victoria's Secret's stocks will update. So there'll be new magic items to buy, and Lord Flashheart may or may not have gotten in there to buy stuff depending on what happens today.
He already took all of the ones of Fireball.
Wow. This is it.
Not only that, he bought out the whole store and he's reselling it at twice the price now. How do you think he's so rich?
That was Flashheart's secret.
So, armed with that information, and with a lot of certainty there was some wrongdoing after finding Fiverwick, and also a couple of logbooks out at Shroot Farms, you went to Lord Flashart's manor try to do the ultimate high sneaky operation to get in, and then Hala immediately nat 1 on a stealth check. Yeah, a little bit of trouble, not too much trouble ensued, but Nanto was able to get off a fast friends, and then he started getting a tour around the mansion while Ravenous and Hala were invisibly helping themselves to a tour around the manor. And then I think in the first room the second room you got taken into, this sort of art studio, Nanto, with a bit of bad experience with sofas, decided to start telekinesing various things, rummaging around to see if there's secret levers in them, and found one.
I have a deep phobia of all cushion-based furniture.
Thanks to a certain mimic. And so the whole party just piled into this secret chamber opening up, figuring this must be where Will was being held. And discovered quite a different environment to what they expected. More like Lord Flashheart's personal saucy chamber. But it was enough...
Not just saucy, but super creepy.
Yeah, creepy and saucy. Yeah, because there was
It's sex dungeon.
By his standards, that just counts as
I feel like
pleasure
that's
room.
more telling of the DM than anything else.
I mean, you got to make the villain hateable, right?
Yeah, we just throw in 50 Shades of Flashheart. I mean...
Exactly. To that end, you did find like a wardrobe filled with levers and whips and such, but also you found on the opposite wall there was a full, larger than life-size painting of Lord Flashheart that looms over the room, which came to life and started asking you to get out, and then trying to forcibly intervene with a couple of spells. Meanwhile, the guards are all pouring in, trying to remove you from this, whereas while Buruk is holding the door very much in Game of Thrones style, just standing there taking the hits, but not many hits. I think he's just taken one hit.
Yeah, so far just one.
Out of the 9 attacks I took, one of them landed.
Yeah, but it was a nasty one. The three of you are trapped in this room while the guards are all sort of pouring in. The portrait behind you is throwing off spells. Meanwhile, Ravenous and Hala have been off exploring the manor, figuring you guys, as per the plan, have provided a suitable distraction.
we're distracting all right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've made sure, you guys have neatly made sure there's no guards anywhere just patrolling around. So these two invisible miscreants haven't had any trouble with having to make stealth checks or anything like that. They could just wander to their heart's content.
We've this has all just been a distraction. It's planned.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely wanted to draw every guard in this entire compound straight to us. It was the goal the whole time.
I don't know about you, but by now the goal is very singular and simple. Between me and a guard with a full plate armor suit, there are 8 more. It's an 8-step process at this point.
So for now, the goal is just hold.
Yeah, Hodor.
Hold.
I think it's also worth mentioning from the previous session that they had figured out that, given they only have swords, they will have to rotate to distract me properly. It's a bit more difficult when I manage to keep one of them right in front of me, blocking the view.
Exactly. So some grappling action going on. I think you knocked out actually the one that was directly in front of you, so there will be one rotation.
He tried to stab me. It's only natural.
Exactly. And so while this is going down, you've got Nanto standing behind the bulwark that is Buruk, and pontificating, doing his poetry slam with such... I think you nat 20'd your performance check, and there was about 6 nat 20s in a row, and it's ridiculous in the last episode.
It was insane.
You actually broke the laws of probability, which hurt my soul. But yes, sitting there pontificating, and it's not taken effect yet, but you are a glamour bard, and you know that you're well on the way towards being halfway to entrancing your audience.
Sorry, well on the way to being halfway.
Yes. Where did we lose you? Halfway or below halfway?
Yeah, I think we're around 4 out of 10. So it's progressing nicely. But as I say, yeah, you got the guards. You've also got one guard who is semi-friendly to you guys, Johnny. His friends call him Johnny. Jonathan.
His friends call him Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see there's a few reinforcements have started arriving, and you can see there's a couple of these guards in the black plate armor who look a bit scarier than the other guardsmen you've been tackling. So that is my long-winded summary. That's always longer than I intend. So yeah, these are the guards. You might recognize some from Tangled. That is a complete coincidence. These fearsome black armor guards have been approaching. Ravenous and Hala, as I say, have been exploring the wider manor. Ravenous has come across a few choice trinkets. An emerald necklace. She found a ruby necklace that started screaming loudly when she tried to remove it about it being stolen, and she had to put it back. Maybe she'll come back for that later. We'll see. Oh, is it the cat?
Cat trouble?
Yeah, it's definitely the cat insisting getting out of the room. No? Okay, just mewing.
Just mewing.
Change his mind.
Okay. So this is broadly what the circumstance looks like across the manor. So Hala, you weren't here last episode, but basically we've remote piloted you to get you. We split you and Ravenous up, and you were just each exploring different rooms. As I say, there was a lot of crazy skill checks coming particularly from Ravenous. I think you got 3 nat 20s on your own.
In a row.
Yeah, including some lockpicking, some investigation. But you found some pretty damning evidence for Lord Flashheart for his various misdeeds, and it seems like he's been receiving and giving out payments for various people.
Yeah, I noticed in the part where it says in your reward tracker, unlock ledger containing payments out but not in for Fitherwick, Will, Dashing Fawn, and Unending Kumar. It says containing payments going out, as in were they going? That one I would get a bit confused on. Is it the follow-up, as in they were giving the payments to the Shroot Farms, and it was for them taking those 4 people?
So your volume's coming in and out a little bit there. You were at a really good volume for about 20% of that, but then the other 80% you were quiet. Yeah, perfect.
You hear me?
That's much better. That's why I was hesitant to turn you up, because I had a feeling it was something like that. But yes, exactly to your point, Nightshades. It's if I go to reference the rewards tracker just so I can get this right. So what Ravenous found in the last episode was those like Trapper Keeper diaries where there's a lock on it and then you keep all your personal records away. She was able to immediately get open the lock and immediately discern all the information from it. I think from 2 nat 20s in a row, it did actually break me a bit. But yes, there's payments going out for Fitherwick, Will, Dashing Fawn, and Unending Kumar, whereas all the other records inside this document, whereas various other names that she didn't recognise. Maybe you will if you get a look at it as a local to Daggerford, but all the other people's names in there had payments going in and out, and the payments going in were much larger. So it seems like it seems like Lord Flashheart's involved in some kind of trade business involving people. I think that's enough catch up. I think I spent about 15 minutes doing catch up there, but I'm conscious that you weren't around last time, Helen. And we've got a special guest, Flair, who may appear at the end of the episode. We'll see. It depends what happens and how much longer I spend doing catch up.
I don't expect to show up today, but hi.
Yeah, there we go.
I never knew you'd bring in someone like Flair to play Lord Flashheart.
Dude,
spoilers! What? Come on.
I mean, we'll see.
We spent 3 hours going through 3 rounds of combat, and it's like we have 7 more rounds to go. So in a couple of weeks, we should be able to find you.
I mean,
We'll call you next. We'll call you in July. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I've got a habit of well, the sewers. If the sewers are anything to go, I mean, to be fair, that was many combats in the sewers. It wasn't just one combat.
I mean, it was like
No.
we had the baby thrower. We had the crocodile.
I'm sorry, you
there's-
had the what?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I
it was.
thought you said
baby
baby
thrower.
thrower.
No, you heard right.
Exactly what he said.
You heard right. The baby
It was
thrower.
even worse. It was a.
Stay on
it was
target. Stay on target.
We could talk about it at the end, but suffice it to say, he's throwing rat baby mutant people. It's horrible. But anyway, so
that explains it.
yeah,
Of
totally,
course.
it's good. There's art and everything. This is the circumstance that Burek, Nyrune, and Nanto are currently in. You're in this secret chamber, tucked away down the corridor from the sofa, and there's all these guards pouring into the room. And meanwhile, you guys have been out. Ravenous and Hallow have been out exploring. So I think where we ended it last time, it was trying to remember now. Actually, was it at the end of your turn?
I believe
last-
what happened was the last thing that happened was Baruch went unconscious because the
Charmed, not unconscious.
There we go. Yeah, it was the painting snapped off a hypnotic pattern. Good memory. Nanto and Lyroon were absolutely fine, but Baruch succumbed.
incapacitated even.
Yeah. So he's stood up, but immobile. But that was the end of the guardsman's turn. So it's now your guys' turn. So then it's block initiative.
Right. And Lyroon looks between the painting, to solve that problem, to maybe, try to jump up there and cover it with a sheet again, or Baruch and waking him up. And goes over to Baruch and wakes him up.
Okay.
Good choice.
Good. So using your action essentially to shake him awake. Any other stuff? Movement, bonus actions, whatnot.
Lyroon will look to the painting and say,
Absolutely nothing.
absolutely nothing. Go on.
Right when the music really kicked up. Holy.
Very intense there. He says.
Yeah. You...
Actually, yeah. I definitely give a death stare to the painting.
Okay, so you're just giving the stink eye. Baruch.
So when it comes to shaking up, how exactly do you go about it? Is it just a nudge from behind to break the stupor? Is it, a couple of friendly slaps? How does it happen?
I just
You're
don't
still-
scare him because he'll punch you.
You're still a couple of slaps, but not on the face.
No tap.
Wow.
No, it's since Baruch is still facing all the guards and back towards me, just hands on shoulders and shake.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you just grab him from behind, vigorously shaking the hobgoblin.
And I go, wake up! This is no time for whatever that was.
Okay, and Baruch, from your perspective, there was these beautiful geometric patterns blossoming and then dissipating and blossoming in front of your eyes, and then you're just rudely shaken awake, and suddenly they seem to lose a measure of their luster.
Yep, that sounds spot on. So the way I'm imagining the shapes is, if you go and rub your eyes for a bit too long, for a few moments, you see those shapes. It's just that, but they never stop, and it's
Yeah.
charming and it's so beautiful. I could stare into them for. Oh, right, that battle.
Right, all these guardsmen who are angrily looking at me. So, you've regained your consciousness. There is no one directly in front of you, but there are a bunch of guards just 10 feet away from you, and there's more pouring into the room and approaching. Hang on, I need to get the screen onto the right map. There we go. So there's 3 guards right in front of you. There's one of those black armored guards just right behind them. Johnny is standing just nearby, and you can see it behind them. There's more guards pouring into the room.
So just 2 things I want to check on. So the guard right in front of me is unconscious. He flopped on the ground the moment I got charmed.
Mhm.
Can I pick him up to use as a meat shield?
You certainly may, yeah. So you can just pick him back up and resume using him as a meat shield. But that won't stop him occupying the space. It'll just make.
Yeah, and that was about to be my second question. That can I use him to basically block them from actually walking over?
Sadly not. 5-foot cubes are big.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So in that case, I will be, just grabbing him by the scruff of the neck, lifting him back up to then, just get him a tiny bit up in the air in that moment while he's falling back. Just get my hand under the armpit, just to pick him up proper, and use that as a shield from now onwards.
Cool.
And in the meantime, I will take one step forwards, just in order to pick it up. Now, I am aware that this is a bit of a problem game-wise, but at that point, I will go and attack the guard that's northwards mostly in this map.
Okay.
So the one that's to the left of Johnny.
Yeah. So it's this one.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay, go ahead and give me an attack roll, and let's see how you do. So you scoop up the guardsman. I'll allow that as a free action. You just give them up. Yeah, and then you're walking forward with your long sword, your brand new purchased long sword, and sweeping through the air towards him. But he's, it's a bit clumsy because you got this guardsman, this dead weight, well, not quite literal dead weight, but on your arm, and you're trying unconscious weight, and you're trying to and just swing with this what you think is just a really nice longsword, but it's actually a magical longsword, and it whistles through the air, and you can feel you would have been bang on target, but the guardsman's just in time to bring around his spear and just block the blow, and it just hacks into the haft.
Okay, now that is something that would thoroughly piss Buruk off. So I'm going for an action surge.
Right, let's do it.
We're not done here yet.
For the purpose, Nanto, obviously you're doing your glamour poetry. Just so you're aware, the charm effect happens at the end, so it doesn't matter if he butchers everyone before it ends.
Go ahead.
I took a double read of the effects just to make sure I understood how it works, and yeah, it seems to be perfect for this exact scenario, bizarrely.
Butcher away, and whoever's left, I will take.
Yeah. Oh no, Buruk.
Right, so after my action surge, given that one strike got blocked in a fairly mundane way, to be honest, it's a bit shameful. Buruk would just grit his teeth and step another step forward, and try to smack just with the pommel of his longsword, just to knock that person out. And again, it's the exact same motion. It takes the exact same defense to block it. It's a bit shameful to look from the sidelines.
A shameful display.
It is very much a shameful display. But as a last thing for the turn, I'm going to use Second Wind just to regain some of the health.
Okay, so let's see how
And
much.
Those hobgoblins, I could be thinking of creature stat blocks though. Don't they have an ability for like saving face?
He's already used it, sadly.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember what you used it for, but it was good.
It was one of the attacks.
Unfortunately, the face has already been saved today.
Yeah, and it's quite an embarrassing situation for the hobgoblin. He just strides forward, swings with his long sword, and just blocked by the haft of the spear, and then he just takes it back, and then just moves with in hobgoblin speed and swings forward again, trying to hack away. Well, trying to hack away with the pommel and just cracking him across the temple, but he's also ready with it for it, and just blocks with his spear. And once again, just the ring of metal and wood, but to no avail. But the hobgoblin stands, takes in a breath and holds it, and he just seems to visibly straighten a bit. And while he isn't able to do saving face as a maneuver, he certainly seems to be saving face in terms of trying to withstand the storm that is surely coming. Do you stand there? Do you move at all?
I think... Okay, I will regret this, but I will step back 5 feet forward after all of this.
Okay, so there's going to be 3 attacks of opportunity against you.
Wait a minute. Wait. You're gonna try and step backwards?
Right.
I think I will have to, because otherwise those 3 attacks are going to happen every single turn.
So, might I make a suggestion?
I'm listening.
I have telekinesis. As a bonus action, I can shove you 5 feet.
Okay, let me stand where I am for the moment. To be fair, frankly, Buruk is currently angry enough to not think about where it's safer and where it's not safe to stand.
Well, I think what could happen is you saw these attacks are in effect, you're just like, okay. And Nanto can just see you're starting to look a little bit hesitant about your position, and then just immediately just makes a little singular gesture, and then you can feel a slight tug, and you know Nanto's antics by now. You don't like magic, but you don't like not dying more, or you don't like dying more. And so allow it to happen. You just feel yourself slide backwards 5 feet away from these 3 guardsmen facing you, sliding across the ground. They're all just like, what? It's like a Michael Jackson style maneuver. It's baffling.
I was about to say that it just looked like a moonwalk.
And just slide backwards.
Amidst the pontificating, just whoop.
And it's just one additional point to that it is like Michael Jackson's moonwalk, but you can hear the screech of metal boots against the floorboard.
It's more like rather than his voice. But it just slides backwards dramatically away from the guards. Nanto, that'll be your turn because your action is performing.
Yep, action is pontificate, and then bonus action pull.
Do you have any more verse that you would like to say?
Oh god,
Putting you on the spot.
6 seconds every time.
Yep.
All right,
we can
seconds.
come if you want a little while. We can come back to you after Ravenous and
Oh
Hannah.
no, it's much better if I'm uncomfortably doing it right on the spot. So, and twits the trees and vines, does the dew fall to the grass, and the blades of the... And then we're gonna just cut there.
Good, excellent.
Only a few seconds at a time.
And the rest of you, because he did it, as I say, he did Nat 20 his performance check at the start of this. So it's this beautiful, not necessarily entirely sensical, but that's Nanto to a T. It's just
What have I made sense?
Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, Vlad.
Oh, I thought I was. I was like, oh god.
Nanto, beautiful but doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty much exactly
to a T.
that.
Okay, so that is the end of your guys' section. So, flicking back to the wider circumstance, so we got, as I say, we've got Halla and Ravenous out exploring. So Halla, what had happened to you last was you had, as I say, we were remote piloting you. We have you. You found a couple of interesting rooms. You found like a sitting room. There was a book on the table. I think it was more like a fiction novel. It wasn't anything particularly interesting, but you found a book in this sitting room to the southwest. You found a couple of beds beside that room as well. Ravenous probably has detailed notes actually on everything that I was capturing throughout this. But across the way as well, you found some stairs that were leading upstairs, but no sign of any prisoners or any juicy tidbits. So Halla, you've just opened this door to where in the position you are. You've seen the staircase. And last you saw Ravenous, she was just heading from this like study library north to go check out what she could find.
Very insightful. Please tell me more.
So you're just down here. So yeah, you found stairs leading upstairs. You know roughly where Ravenous is. There's a couple of rooms on this side of the mansion on the first floor that you haven't checked out yet, but you haven't found any sign of where Will would be held just yet.
And you have done investigation checks for things behind things, so it doesn't look like it. Although everyone knows that Halla is the smartest kobold.
And you guys said that there's a room. There's rooms I haven't checked yet.
Yeah. So these areas are black bits. Yeah. So there's a room to the north and a room to Ravenous's east that you guys haven't checked out quite yet.
I doubt they would even keep her in the main household. That would be even with like a secret stuff. That wouldn't make. To me, that wouldn't make the greatest amount of sense to keep a prisoner in where someone could readily find them, at least in the main house where people would mostly check. But Halla's stupid, so.
That's it. She's got 6 intelligence, so it's big words are hard. So are big thoughts.
I mean, I guess I would go to the first the room on the right that's empty that we haven't checked yet.
Cool. So you trot up the corridor. There's no guards around because they've all been marching away towards the convenient distraction your companions have provided, and as far as you're aware, it's absolutely fine. You open the door, there's no lock or anything, so it's easy enough, and there's now a staircase leading upstairs. It looks like, from what we can tell, this room is the staircase you'd seen to the south. It looked a bit more, there's like a nice carpet, it was a bit more formal. This one looks like more like a servant's corridor access. But yeah, it's more of the same. But that's your movement. It doesn't use up your action or anything, so you can use your action to dash. you can carry on exploring easily enough.
I mean, if it was just staircases going up, then could I dash to the other empty spot?
So you can dash around there easily enough. Yeah, and here you find. So that's your action to get to this point. Yeah, you find what looks like most of. Oh, sorry.
Could I actually would I be able to bonus action dash be able to get there? So that way I can still have my action.
If you use one of your key points for Step of the Wind, sure. Yeah. No worries. Okay, so yeah, with the monkish speed that Hala possesses, she starts sprinting down the corridor and arrives here, and is able to burst into the room, and you find what looks like a log pile. There's a chair there, but it's currently unoccupied. You can see next to it is a crate that's being used as like a side table, and you can see what looks like a game, a solo card game that was being played there. So give me an investigation check. Your specialty, I know.
I mean, at this point, I just get bad rolls in general, so.
That's right. Well, if last game's anything to go on, and there's already another nat 20. This is just ridiculous. Just break my game, you guys.
Not nat 20.
Yeah. So you walk in and. Yeah, you're able. You glance at the cards on the table, and you're able to immediately conclude it must have been one of the guards that were in earlier playing what was essentially medieval solitaire, just solitaire. And you can see there's various supplies around, but there's a wood pile opposite where you come in, which seems distinctly out of place from what you would know of this kind of room. I mean, you've never really been in a mansion before, but it doesn't quite make sense that there's a wood pile here. And when you're looking at it closely, it seems oddly free of cobwebs, free of dust, almost like it's been carefully arranged to be there. And you find your attention just keeps getting drawn back to it. And you still have your action.
Okay. I'll sit there and try to see if there's, any sort of hidden thing there.
Yeah. So, and as I say, I only draw so much of your attention to it because you literally nat 20 the investigation check, which with your -2 brings you down to 18, but still, it's still a nat 20.
No.
So yeah, rummaging through the wood pile, you very, very promptly find there is a lever hidden amongst it. That it seems that all the wood piles like carefully laid around this to try and conceal it. So I assume you immediately pull the lever because who doesn't pull a lever that they find?
And you take 66 fire damage.
And fire.
The roof suddenly collapses on your head.
If you want me to die, okay. See you guys later.
Bam.
Double my HP, I'd be done.
So yeah, you lay your purple scaled hand up on the lever and give it a yank, and you hear this grinding, very slow grinding of stone to your left, and before your eyes is a small passageway beginning to open up, and just glancing down you can see there is a staircase leading downwards. So some kind of hidden stairway, but that is the end of your turn.
That's what I was about to say.
And that's everything you can do. So Ravenous. Now you had been hanging out the wardrobes. You'd found an emerald necklace.
No, I'm wearing that.
Yeah, you got it on. Okay. You found a ruby necklace that started screaming loudly about it being stolen. You put that back. What are you doing?
So I am very conscious that there is an unopened chest in that room.
There is indeed. So just beside these two arcane symbols that are laid on the floor that you don't quite understand the purpose of, you can see there's this long, thin trunk with a pretty weighty looking lock upon it. But yeah, Ravenous, being Ravenous, is immediately drawn towards it. So give me that Thieves' Tools check. So that's just give me a dexterity check and we'll add your proficiency. And that's essentially what it is.
Do we have to? We can just assume it's a 20.
Not today.
Just,
You jinxed it.
yeah. There you go. So 8 plus stuff, but I don't think it'll be enough stuff. So take out your Thieves' Tools. I mean, you've broken into quite a few different items, and you're feeling pretty confident after immediately managing to break into the Trapper Keeper diary. So you take them out and sort of start nuddling.
Looked at it and it opened.
Yeah. Start wrestling away with the lock, and you can You feel one tumbler seem to give. You know, that's interesting. You carry on moving, and you feel another one seem to give, and then suddenly there's a pulse reverberating out of the lock, out towards you, up the length of that thin rod that you got stuck into the lock, and up your arm. Give me a dexterity check.
I hate you so much right now. Are you fucking with me? I mean, are you pooping with me?
That's an 8. So,
So
yeah.
the next roll's going to be an 8 if last session
Yeah.
has been it.
So it's a sort of vibrating. It's almost like, you know, when you jar your funny bone. It's that sort of uncomfortable vibrating sensation. It just rushes up your arm and across your chest. Actually, you feel your whole body sort of jarring with it, and yeah, it's a very uncomfortable situation. Let me just see.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I'm gonna just cut and paste this so you guys can see what happens.
Oh god, I feel like this is a bad thing.
No.
Yes!
It was 2d6 damage, and I got a double 1, which is
Oh girl!
Haven't been so happy to see Snake Eyes in a long time.
what in the actual.
Now, I do have bad news. He did roll doubles, so he does get to roll again.
Don't remind him these things.
It's Monopoly rules, you guys. So
If you run 3 doubles, Flashheart
You go to
goes
jail.
yeah.
If you roll too many, Flashheart goes to jail. Right away, straight to jail.
So you feel this
Believe it or not, jail.
So you can feel this vibrating pulse rushing up your arm, and you, even though you're not quite fast enough to pull your hand away, you are fast enough to pull your hand away just after it hits your hand. And so it's basically just your fingertips that get the brunt of it, and it's just enough to leave them just numbed for a second. But it's 2 damage, pretty much no effect. But there is a that rings outward from the chest. If you had been in the midst of a sneaky operation without the guards being aware, that probably would have been an issue. As it is, the guards are fairly preoccupied, so might be fine, might not. We'll see.
Question: am I no longer invisible?
No, you're fine. Actually, give me a concentration.
I'm taking...
Concentration. And
That's DC 10 Constitution.
sorry, yeah, it's a Constitution save, basically. Yeah. So yeah, it's a Constitution save. Oh, so instantly with that, and then Hala and yourself both suddenly discover your bodies rematerializing. Yeah, because it's the same spell. So both of you discover, and it's like Hala's just like, what the hell? Just completely independently in a different room. But you, yeah, you weren't expecting it, and you takes all of your concentration to wrench away your fingers in that nick of time, and you feel that numbing sensation. You're concentrating on that so much, you forget to concentrate on your spell, and suddenly you are visible again. But there is no one around. But there's no one around to see you right now, and you still have your.
Can I do like a quick check around, like?
Yeah, absolutely. You still got a little bit of movement left, but that was your action. I don't think you can do anything interesting with your bonus action. Anything else?
I'm moving. I'm trying again.
Okay, so next turn you'll be trying again. So that is the end of the player round. So
Stubborn tiefling.
and that brings us to the guardsman's round. So after seeing the Michael Jackson impersonation, oh sorry.
I was like, we could just not and say they had a turn.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. Look, we need to speed things up to get Flair in here.
Yeah. Well, all right. I'll just make sure to kill you faster. So, so the guardsmen, they see, and Raven has been replaced by a cat. So that they see this Michael Jackson-esque impersonation from Baruch. They see there's the painting trying to struggle to enrapture you, the three of you, and they're not particularly pleased with the circumstance. The 3 guards that are directly in front of Baruch, actually, they'd been getting ready to stab him or stab him as he tried to get away, but he gets away too fast. They looked back towards this black plate armored guard, and it just gives a singular silent nod. I'll handle this. Clunk, clunk. And finally, Baruch gets a proper opponent. So the black armored guard strides forward to try and take him on.
Their battles will be legendary.
Exactly.
No.
They'll poet about it for the centuries. So let me just get.
I mean, that's why I brought the bard to this battle so that someone can tell about it.
Exactly. I can record the story for the books.
Yeah, it's
So he, as I say, you saw earlier he had a light crossbow. He just tosses that aside, and then reaches back to his back, lays his hand around a thick pommel, and starts drawing it. Sorry, Brooke, go ahead.
one quick question. When he's tossing the crossbow aside, is it thrown towards us or towards the guards who might pick it up later on?
Just at his feet. So yeah, ready for a guardsman to pick it up. Yeah, he's not that dumb. And then just reaches up to his back, lays his hands around the pommel of a thick, weighty sword, and starts drawing it. It's whisper of steel on leather. Holds it in two hands and just thunk, raises it, brings it down, swinging hard towards Burritt with all his strength. Let's see how he does.
He misses, of course.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean,
I would like to see a 17 to hit.
What is going on here?
He has a plus 17 to hit.
Well, he rolled a nat 3, so that's not great.
Okay,
Um,
I'm pretty sure that just hits the wall to the side. More than anything.
but he's got multi
It's a
attack.
narrow corridor.
That's his
otherwise-
that's his first attack. So yeah, he steps forward, raises that massive greatsword and brings it swinging overhead, and it just cracks into the top of the secret passageway, just hacking in deep gouge into the center of the doorway, and it's just an awkward moment for where he's trying to pull it out of the woodwork, and Burrick's just like, he'd been like wincing in anticipation of the pain, but it's this awkward moment. He just wrenches it free, angles it downward, and then just thrusts forward with all his might. And Burrick's not ready for it. It punches straight through his chain metal, straight into several vital organs. Let's roll up some damage.
He needs
Sorry,
those.
I know where a new set of armor is. I can sort you out, bruh.
Oh, that's going to keep the blacksmith busy.
Okay, so
He's just doing this for the blacksmith, don't worry.
I've been visiting him twice daily so far.
He's doing this for the people.
it's for the good of the people. So yeah, he thrusts forwards, and it punches straight through the armor and tears away at its internal organs. And it's a pretty grievous wound, pretty much on par, if not worse, to the light crossbow wound you'd taken earlier. 18 damage.
It is worse.
It is a brutal. These guys are pretty scary.
Yikers.
But there's the end of his turn. So he's prepared. He starts moving back, trying to make space for his subordinates. What do you do? You got an attack of opportunity.
I will very happily use that attack of opportunity.
Absolutely.
Are you attacking or grappling?
grappling requires a free hand. He does not have one.
Very good point. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll allow you to
would be
drop
attacking.
your dude, but yeah.
No way.
That's not a good question.
No. I'm keeping this one for keeps.
So you're aware, for the purposes of that, I'm allowing him to act as a shield, so you get +2 AC from the dude.
That's why I was asking for 17 to hit, because I wanted to use him as a proper shield.
Yeah.
But we've got what we've got. So
So-
the moment guard captain steps back to make space for his subordinates, much like he thrusts forward, Burke would just get his shield a bit to the side and just lunge forwards with his own sword. And much like he did deflect the strike, neither did the captain. So that's
Exactly.
going to be 25 to hit. And furthermore, I would like to add a maneuver to that.
Ooh.
Moment. That's going to be a pushing attack.
Just
Ooh. Is pushing attack just movement, or is it? No, that's trip attack. I apologize. Never mind.
Yeah, so in this case, it's going to be a DC 13 strength saving throw, I believe, for him. Let me confirm how much save it is. It's going to be 15 strength saving throw. Yeah,
So
so 8
you're
plus-
sorry. So what your game plan is here? Sorry, is I'm gonna walk away. No, you walk away more.
Pretty much.
If you're trying to step back, you might as well fly onto the guards behind you.
Yeah.
Plus, he'll have to like spend time if he wants to get his weapon back. He has to go pick that up, and
It's the humiliation factor. But yeah, so he just as this guy, this brutal hulking plate armored fellow, he just stabs forward with the great sword, and as he's pulling it free, Burr, even though he's got a sword in his guts, it's just like, no, that won't stand, and just thrusts forward with his own long sword in a counter strike and a riposte, and just slaps it into his shoulder. And I assume, is that lethal or non-lethal, by the way?
Very much lethal.
Yeah, very much lethal. That's what I figured. He just hacks
Very
it forward,
much lethal.
hacks it forward into his shoulder, and this is unusual. You're seeing this. It's like this sword is impossibly sharp. It's carved through plate armor, and just slices into the man's shoulder, and you just shove with all the weight that you can put behind it. And he starts, and you can see this guy is big. He is, hulking, black armored, muscular fellow, and yet he still manages to stumble back from the sheer force of your shove. For context, he rolled a nat 6.
Not gonna be 15 after any modifiers.
Yeah, it's just like starts stumbling backwards, collides into the guy behind him, and the sheer weight of this guy, he's like stumbling into him. He just knocks him straight out of the way like a bowling ball into a pin, tumbles over the two together, but it's still their turn, so he just gets himself back out and like, unexpected. Take him.
So for the record, this guy just took 19 damage, which the important part is that one more than he dealt to me.
It's about making a statement.
It's about saving face.
It's about the people.
Will immediately say, seeing the actual stab instead of hilt smash of Baruch will say, Baruch, we can't kill them for doing their job.
Or let you chat while I pee.
I'll look at Laroon as, with genuine surprise. I said, what are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Like, they hit me first.
No,
Yes, we could kill them for doing their job. Watch me do it.
Yeah, what do you mean? What else do you kill someone for?
To be fair, up to this point, Burke has spent the whole previous session going, look, we are still trying to remain at least moderately official here. But once that crossbow bolt sank into him, rules kind of changed.
He saw red,
No.
and it was just over from there.
No.
Yeah, it's up to you to persuasion him to calm down.
I mean, she slapped me.
What?
They swung first, just saying.
Give him a nice little backhand.
I mean, granted, we did kind of break into their secret sex dungeon, but they did swing
That was
first.
breaking in. You triggered the release mechanism to allow you in. That was full consent right there.
Ah, yes. The
No,
mechanism consented.
That's not how that
That's how it
works.
No,
No,
you
I'm
just
pretty
added
sure
Johnny.
that's. I'm fairly certain that's the actual law in this universe.
That's
right?
just law.
We here at iCast Friends, we support the consent. We do support consent before actions. Proper consent before actions. Thank you.
The mechanism relented.
No, I don't know about you, but I checked with Johnny and he said it's perfectly fine. It's not where most people go. But
Johnny gave us consent for
Hey,
everything.
only his friends call him Johnny, okay?
We are his friends.
Okay.
I'm his friend.
No,
I can call him.
Nanto. Exactly.
okay, fine. I gave the consent.
Does that
friend
mean
can
that
call him Johnny.
he holds malice to everyone else? Like Nanto, he's just blind to anything he does, but any of the rest of us, he's like, "What are you doing in that dungeon?" But Nanto, you're okay.
It's kind of like you're friends with your friends. You just don't want anyone to hurt each other. So he's just looking on aghast, basically, at this whole scene. Like, guys, no! But we'll get to that. First of all,
Nanto, be sad. You stabbed his friend's spleen.
So first of all, while this hulking black armored guard stumbles backwards from the shoving blow, and it's pretty vicious, as you say, bro, you deal 1 more damage to him than he dealt to you. Immediately, the guy to his right comes swinging in after him, though, just stepping forward to take his place. Let's see how he does. What's your AC?
19 with a guard in total.
Okay. So just shoves forward with a spear, and you get your guardsman, your meat shield, bring him around, and he takes the blow, and it just sinks into his guts, and the guy is just like, oh god, oh Phil, oh, just wrenches it free, and he's like, oh god, and steps backwards out of the way. His companion watches this and is just. He's got a face full of thunder for you because of using his friend as a meat shield, and it's like you can see the rivulet of blood pouring down his friend's chest. He comes forward, charging for Phil, and just charges forward with his spear, stabbing forwards, and don't use the meat shield this time, but just glints harmlessly off the heavy chain armor that you're wearing. Maybe another job for the blacksmith yet again, but it's proving its value. No harm done, and he just steps away, and obviously there's no attacks opportunity because you've already used it. Just leaves 1 guardsman left, the one who the black guard has stumbled back into, and he's like sprawled on the floor, and he like picks himself up, picks up his spear, and just moves forward to charge in with his own spear. I'm just gonna cut and paste these rolls so you can see what's happening here. It's like a 4 and a 2 and a 4.
If you add them all up together, it makes 1 attack.
It makes 1 hit.
Oh, according to plan.
And he just charges forward, like locks it into place, and he's just like, but again, Brooke's all too ready for it. This time he doesn't bother the meat shield, doesn't bother his army, he just gets around the longsword, just slaps the spear point out of the way, and just skids into the stone. No problem. The other guardsmen coming running in. Now they too still have their ranged availabilities. So,
this music's absolutely pumping right now. I'm loving it. Oh yeah!
10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
You read my mind, bud.
I got you.
Do the panhandle. I don't know what that would look like.
Flip it over.
Flip the pancake.
It's my favorite dance move.
No, it sounds like you guys are just doing the shepherd.
The shepherd.
Oh gosh, no, not shepherd stance, please, anything but that. I'll take Carlton over that.
The Carlton's great. What are you doing?
Carlton's great.
Oh, great. You talking on the Carlton?
Okay, are we for real?
Yes.
What is y'all's charisma scores? Because obviously you're not proficient in performance.
Yo, y'all do not get to talk about
Savage.
Wow.
That is a dance that defined a generation. Thank you.
Okay. Burke, what was your AC again, sorry?
19.
Learn to listen, DM. Oh.
No, it's more just appallment.
Oh.
Oh,
I
more.
can't
that
touch
means
this son of a...
Like, again, I've cut and paste. I mean, viewers, you won't be able to see this, but I've cut and paste the. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the PowerPoint just so you can see what's happening here, and just so you can see that I'm not bullshitting. This is just.
So, the 8 attacks that they did, 2 of them got blocked by the guard, at least 3 caught by the armor, and 3 simply didn't hit them
Yeah.
to begin with.
I mean, to be fair, you got AC 19. They've only got +3 to hit, but you know, even the guy who's meant to be able to hit you. Yeah. So what happens is, these guardsmen that are rushing in, they got their spears in hand, and it is difficult. There's other guards in the way. There's a lot of chaos going on. But they start throwing their spears, and it's like a perfect like ring of spears, like thudding into the secret passageway doorway around you, just making a nice, pretty pattern. Maybe the guy you're holding takes 1 or 2 as well. Phil is looking. He's gonna die. You can tell from the thuds of impacts, like, and you can just feel the jarring impacts into his body. But you know,
Sounds like some health punches need to happen soon for your shield.
Nah.
I mean, a dead body's just as good as a living body for a shield. So,
Yeah, I know, but Lyra doesn't want him to die. That would be unlawful.
Yeah, It's more the liability issues than anything at this
Yeah.
point.
Like,
Um,
you were rich to go in and you slaughtered the entire guard.
And then there's just one who would actually been able to do much in this situation. So the other black guard who's come in brings out that light crossbow. And he's just takes out his arm and just levels it on top of it. And he's just carefully aiming. Like there's this forest of spears flying forwards. He's got his companions in the way.
Line of sight. I was gonna say like there's
Yeah,
people
it's
in
a
the
tricky
way.
shot.
He's on stairs.
+2 to AC according to Raw, but that's whatever.
But you was also you might have seen the various rolls that I flashed up there. He rolled a nat 2, so so chunk, and you hear the snap of the crossbow string snapping taut, and a bolt flies forward, and it just funks harmlessly into the doorway directly above Burrick's head. Another round passed, no harm done. Literally, just the one hit. Again, just the one hit, and it's from the same guy, the black armored guard. So I think that is the guardsman's turn. So it's back to you guys. Oh no, the painting. Sorry,
I was hoping
Painting.
you would forget.
Ah, damn.
No!
the actual real threats. You know this song.
I will say after the stream, but like, yeah, I know where I heard the song from. It is hilarious if you guys haven't seen it.
Okay, so everyone give me a wisdom save. So that's
Again?
yeah, Burrick, Lyroon, and Nanto. Give me a wisdom save. Burrick makes it.
15 does it this time.
Nanto
Yes,
makes it with +1 to you.
Yes.
And
But
Lyroon, the
I
person.
get advantage.
Oh, because you're an elf. And there we go. Yeah. So once again, the painting, the greater than life size painting of Lord Flashheart. It's like, I say, you have no right to be in here, and you're killing my guards. How ruddy dare you now? And he just whips around his sword, and another blaze of hypnotic patterns flash out from the painting, and enveloping all of you with these beautiful geometric patterns fashioning before your faces. But all of you are wise to these tricks now. Burrick and Nanto both just know to just ignore them pretty much. And Burrick's just far too focused actually on probably just looking at the forest of spears and crossbow bolts around him and being a bit concerned, and the wound in his chest. Nanto's too focused on his poetry to ever notice such a thing anyway, normally. And Lyroon initially finds himself starting to slip into it, and he's just, ooh, these are nice. But just catch yourself just before it takes hold. Something in you.
My poetry.
Yeah, actually, yeah, perfect. The words of Nanto ring straight through the hypnotic pattern, cutting through to your mind, and you just find yourself entranced by an altogether different type of beauty. So that brings us to your guys' turn. What do you do?
Cool. I want to try the thing that I wanted to do a couple turns ago. I want to try covering up the painting with the bed sheet.
Okay. You can certainly try covering up. Yeah, go for it. So yeah, a couple of turns ago, yeah, you'd taken the bedsheet, try to drape it over the top. You realise you can't really pull it away from the wall as such. It's attached to the wall, but you can certainly try and cover it up. What was the check that I asked for last time?
You gave me a dex check.
Yeah, let's go for that.
Which I somehow failed because even though I'm a monk.
Yeah, exactly. So Sammy, while that's going on, would you mind maybe a drink, please?
Where's my drink?
So give me a dexterity check. Let's see if you.
Sorry. It was acrobatics.
Oh, yeah, that makes much more sense. Yeah, you're just trying to leap because it's really high up.
I swear to God.
Oh my God!
How do you do this?
Yeah.
How could this happen?
So you gather up the sheet from the ground and jump onto the bed and leap forward and try and drape it over, and you do manage to get it hooked over the edges, and it's holding there for a second. But then that really dissatisfying way that coats sometimes do, it just starts slipping away as soon as you let go, and it just flops back to the ground. And Lord Flashheart's just standing there like, "Aha! You cannot defeat me quite so easily as that!" And he just starts flashing around his sword again.
You can't keep getting away with this.
At least it's better than the nat 1 I rolled last time.
Yeah. Anything else with your...
Oh God, it's better than the nat 1 I rolled next time.
No, you've done it.
You predicted it. Right. Anything else from your turn, Lyroon?
I can't do any bonus action nonsense.
Yeah. So that is it. Thank you, darling. Nanto and Buruk.
Wait.
Oh.
Actually,
You can step of the wind. You could patient defense. You can.
Actually, yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's actually do something. Let me stand. Never mind. I don't care. Burke can just die. I don't care anymore.
What?
Well, because he can always bring you back with his healing punches. Is the thing.
It's a bit harsh, but fair.
Yeah. Okay. So, Nanto, you're still pontificating, so that takes it your action. Anything of your bonus action?
So here's the thing. He's been trying to pull this off the wall, right?
Mhm.
Bonus action. Can I telekinesis this off the wall?
You can certainly try.
I would love to try. So this will be a strength saving throw from him. It is going to be... Let me check something. Yep, so plus 3, 11... DC 14 strength save from the painting.
Cool. Nanto makes a singular gesture with his hands, almost like a beckoning. And you can hear the sort of grinding of metal on stone. And you actually can tell once it's been lifted away, it was nailed into the wall. But apparently not particularly effectively because I rolled a nat 4.
Yes!
Your rolls are just the best today.
It's super frustrating as a DM when this happens. But yeah, just the whole thing just lifts off the wall and is now floating in the air. I assume you're going to lay it down?
Oh, well, I actually... Because it's a creature, all I can do is move it 5 feet towards me. Whatever happens after that is whatever happens.
Right, I'm going to roll 1d2 to see what... you know what? I'm going to allow you to have enough control to be able to decide it flops forward because that's
I want its face to be on the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah. So it just moves forward off the wall. And you hear the grinding of metal and stone as the nails come out of the wall, actually, and it just floats forward 5 feet, and then you just click, and then the whole thing just slaps face forward into the ground, and then you just hear the muffled voice. Oh, say, that's most unrude of you.
Before I do that, I would like to, in the middle of my poetry. He's been so annoying in the back, and I'm just gonna look at him and just be like, in the middle, just blades of... You're interrupting. Please stop. And then just turn back around and go. Anyways, as I was saying, and such the blades that come upon the land, rolling with wind through each and every. And just go right back into it.
Yeah, more nonsensical nonsense. Meanwhile, Burke.
Right. So first things first, the blackguard right in front of me. I managed to hit him once. How well or poorly does he look at the moment?
He doesn't
Does he look like he could take another strike like that?
Yeah, he's not bloodied.
Okay. That is a bit frustrating.
Yeah, the other guardsmen, from what you saw of Phil, they would be in a bad way after such a hit, but he seemed to... He's not bloodied yet.
Yep, that's fair. So in that case, first things first, after Leroon's exclamation, I would be, just half turning to him, just pointing at a gaping wound under the chainmail. It's like, I think the bets are off here. And just turning back to the whole crowd of guards in front of me.
I am actively being dismembered. I think we can fight them.
Stabbing for stabbing.
Right.
Stab
So
for stab, everyone knows that.
for my action, I would like to just dodge.
Okay,
Just to make it more interesting for you to hit. But
cool.
additionally, I would like to do some small things, but entirely up to your discretion. So there is a hand crossbow just a couple feet in front of me, right?
So where he would have dropped it is... if I just colour this guy in so you can see the colour change to green, or orange rather, that's where the hand crossbow would be.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Okay. In that case, I would be spending what time I have to just kick back whatever knives, spears, whatever crossbow bolts perhaps are around me towards the room itself, just to make sure no one even tries to pick them up and use again.
Yeah, so you can... I'll allow you a free action to pull one of them out of the wall. So a spear or a crossbow bolt, up to you, or a dagger.
Yeah, so I think I would just pull up whichever dagger is closest and just, toss it underhandedly
Yeah.
towards the back of the room.
So yeah, Burrich is readying himself, dropping into his sort of tense stance, ready for the incoming storm that's surely coming his way. Ready to hold all this up. He's going to make sure no one's getting through here. And yeah, just grabs one of the daggers and just slings it under her hand out of the way. Okay, so that is the end of the fighter's turn. So that brings us back to Halla and Ravenous. So if I go to my PowerPoint. I love that I do this all in PowerPoint as well. So we'll start with the same order.
We would have that thought. I love that I'm doing this in PowerPoint.
So Halla, you've discovered a secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Gonna go down the secret tunnel.
You're gonna go down. Okay. So
Why would you say it like that?
You're gonna go down. Like
No, I was
down the tunnel. What I meant was.
I was
going down.
I was totally expecting you to do something different, but that's fine. So
You know by now never to expect what you think is going to happen will actually be what we do.
I'm intelligence 6 right now, so no.
I'm intelligent 6 right now. Like you're gonna get smarter.
Like it's gonna improve.
He's still
I
young,
mean,
he's gonna learn.
yeah,
headband of intelligence is a thing.
a wonderful,
Oh.
wonderful thing. Okay, so give me 1 second. There we go. Right. So you move over to this newly opened secret entrance. You can see there's this shadowy stairway leading downwards, and you can see there's a flickering light at the end. You start making your way down the stairs. Are you stealthing? What are you doing?
Yeah, I guess I'll.
You don't have to. It's up to you. It depends how you want to use your action, essentially.
Oh yeah, that will be my action at this point, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. And you're no longer invisible, it's worth saying.
Yeah. No, I'll just keep on moving because at this point it's probably not going to be. It's in for a penny, in for a pound.
Okay, so you start making your way down these stairs, and what you see before you is a stone underground area. You can see either side at the base of the stairs are a suit of plate metal armor. To the left, just beyond those two suits, you can see what looks like a metal grated door. You can't quite see what's in the room beyond, so yeah, try to ignore that you can see it on the map currently. What you can see down the corridor, there's a side table, there's a few various, like a couple of candles and a half-eaten plate of food on it. At the end of this corridor, you can see there's a few cell doors on one side. You can loosely hear, some muted complaints, it sounds like, from someone in a fairly posh sounding voice from the right hand side of this corridor. From the other side, you can't hear anything. You just see there's a couple of open entranceways. What do you do?
I'll go to the first empty spot on the right.
Okay, so you start making your way forwards. When you reach level with the suits of armor, one of them suddenly twitches, and the other one twitches, and both of their heads, metal grating on metal sound. Password.
Flash fart.
Flash fart.
Very clearly, definitely, 100% the password.
100%.
Could I?
Could be anything else.
I doubt that this is gonna work. Could I make an intelligence check to try and guess what his password would be?
It's probably like, I am the greatest.
How bold of you to ask for intelligence.
You can certainly try.
I mean, I don't know if it would be intelligence or it would be insight on his character.
That's a good point. She does know him pretty well.
I'll allow insight. On Lord Flashheart's character. For what you think. Actually, I was going to say dashing. So for some reason in my head he's called dashing. But
Soft 20.
Did you just say
Dirty
soft
20.
20?
Yeah, so you got 17 plus 3.
I believe it.
This is just ridiculous. So yeah, you know, there's this stone, this metallic guardian.
Look, Nut Gobbler, look. You gotta remember, with all these successes, you have a lot of failures in here too. We've had a lot of misses from Baruch and a lot of failures from Lyroon.
Yeah,
And I got a pulse against me because of my failure, so it's all balancing out.
yeah,
It is.
a pulse for a whopping 2 damage, but you did fail your concentration save, so you know. Anyway,
Exactly.
So things are a lot worse. Then you're putting it on, man. So hey,
Give us a break, man.
give the
Let's
break.
not taunt the DM while his hand is still in his box of minis. Like,
I like that
Yeah.
phrase. That's a good phrase.
yes, I know it's digital, but I think
Yeah.
it works.
No, I have a drawer full of minis just over there. But
Perfect.
yeah. Anyway, can you hear music, or is rhythm
I
failed?
can hear the music, yeah,
I can
no,
hear
Good.
music.
Okay, good. So it's just my end. You're making your way down these armored plates, suits. One of them turns their head towards you, the other one turns and password, and you just freeze. Everything in you is a kobold, just like fret, and your mind starts wearing up. What do you know about Lord Flashheart? What would he want as a password in this scenario? And it immediately strikes you what it would be. Of course, this man's ego is incredible. You know, above all else, what he considers his pride, his prejudice, is his adventurer team.
Ooh,
Do you remember the name of his adventurer team?
I do.
Oh, shit. I have it in the notes.
Yeah, I mean, it's harsh for me to ask this because, yeah, you would definitely know it because you've been an adventurer in Daggerford, but
Yeah, and I've been out of the game.
yeah, you've been in and out. It's the Daggerford Dalliances.
The dagger for down, yeah.
The dalliances.
Hmm. So, without hesitation, you utter that name, and they just sort of power down slightly and just step back. Accepted, and you're just allowed to walk past. But you know, there's a pair of what look like some kind of metallic plate armored guardians waiting. So you make your way forward. You look into this cell just to the side. You don't see anyone inside it, but it looks like it's just some wooden boards on the ground. It doesn't look like where you would keep anyone permanently. It's more just a place that you'd throw someone in temporarily upon their first arrival, which kind of makes sense given it's right next to the secret entrance. You still got about 10 feet of movement left with your normal movement, but you can do more stuff. Up to you.
The wisdom check was the action, right?
No, that was just response. You trying to think. It doesn't require an action.
Yeah, I would like to go to the rectangular square on the right. The black one.
On the right, so
The rectangular square. Yes, that makes sense.
that
The rectangular square.
That one.
Not the square, just the rectangular
yeah,
one.
the one that's orange now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you continue.
Mean.
So you can make your way about 10 feet further forward, which is about here, with the rest of your movement. But that gives you a good enough sight line that you're able to see into the room and see what's inside. What you see, there is a lone fellow inside. He's sat on what looks like some wooden benches. There's some buckets. One's full of water. One's full of you don't want to quite think about it, but you can certainly smell it.
Excrement.
Exactly. And if I just
And that is the next boss.
yeah, I know that's my desktop background. It's terrifying for anyone who sees it in D&D.
Everyone's like, oh no!
So this is who you see. Obviously, he hasn't got his weapon on him, but yeah, it's this fairly well-off looking fellow. And it's convenient that you, Halla, are the one exploring this scenario because you are a local to Daggerford. You've lived here for years, and you would recognise this fellow. This is someone who used to fight in the arenas. You haven't seen him around lately. You haven't had any reports like you had with Will that he's been captured. But given that he's in this prison cell, something seems a bit amiss. And you can hear him, now you're a bit closer, and you can overhear what he was saying. He's like, and to take away my friend, I mean, really now, that doesn't seem at all fair. I mean, he was just keeping me safe. Really, take me, don't take him. He was just doing his job. And you recognise this as one of the other local fighters. He is highborn, like Lord Flashheart, but he is nothing like... That's where the similarities end. While he has money, he doesn't flaunt it. He doesn't use it to equip him and his team with high-end gear. They just fight fair. He seems to be... He's captured down here, and as soon as he sees you, he just locks eyes with you. What do you do?
I'll just put finger to the lips, just in case if there's still anyone here.
Okay, let me just roll something.
You son of a bitch, Sam. Just let him have this.
No, it's... And, I mean, it's just clearly disgraceful what you're doing to me here. And even you, Hala, I mean, especially you, Hala, actually, because you have incredibly good insight. You can see he's trying very hard to put on a performance that he hasn't noticed anything amiss, but it is jarring and uncomfortable. But he's doing his very best to act as if nothing's happened.
Good lad.
Then you hear a voice from the side opposite to where this guy's standing. Look. Shut up, otherwise things are going to get much, much worse for you, friend. I say, I'm no friend of yours. And there's just this awful banter passing back and forth between them.
I ain't your friend, guy.
I ain't your friend, guy. Hala, you still got your action. You can hear there's a voice, and you can hear someone that's sort of sounding like someone's standing up from a chair. What do you do?
Is the voice at all familiar?
No.
I mean, not a whole lot else I can do.
Yeah, you can just hear someone... Sounds like they're standing up from the corridor opposite where this guy is. And telling him to shut up.
I guess I'll use the rest of my action to dash to, I guess, get into the room prior to, I guess, hide myself.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, you run backwards the way you came, open the cell door, and it's thankfully unlocked because there's no one inside it right now, and you're able to slip inside and just in the nick of time because, yeah, you heard someone standing up, and you can hear the plodding footsteps of someone walking out, and there's a guard just walking out towards this lone noble prisoner, and just standing at the bar, just saying, "Look, I told you to shut it, or you're going to end up with a mouth full of broken teeth. You understand?"
You're gonna end up with a teeth full of broken mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Shush you. Right. I think that ends your turn. Is that okay, Hala?
Yeah.
All right, Ravenous. Meanwhile, upstairs, you are unaware of this happening. You are attempting to open that accursed trunk.
Now I'm gonna do it again because I am pig-headed.
Yeah. All right, give me another dexterity check, and we'll add prof.
Wow. If that's what you want to do. Please give me something good. Okay, I mean, it's 13.
Okay, 13. So, you bring around your pair of your lockpick. You put it into the lock. The first pin locks into place. The second pin locks into place, and this time, no devastating wave of pulse rises up your arm, and you carry on working. And the third pin locks open, and you've managed to pop open the lock upon the trunk. It was a DC 13, by the way. So it's on the cusp.
Holy balls.
And you open it up. And it's not quite what you might have expected to find in a trunk.
Am I going to be unpleasantly disappointed?
No, there is one just tiny bit smaller chest inside. It's also
That would be very disappointing.
It's just chests all the way down. You find most of this is made up of clothes.
I hate it.
Clothes of various types of nature. Some of them are fancy, noble clothing. Some of them are more common. Some of them are actually what look like, they don't smell, but they look like that beggar's clothes, like ragged, almost like outfits that you would wear. One of them even looks like one of the carnival outfits, you know, the various carnies that you've seen around town.
Interesting.
And that takes up about 2/3 of this long trunk. The other third, you can see there's a row of vials of liquid.
Interesting. Okay.
Give me an investigation check.
I was gonna say, can I? How about instead of an investigation, I give you a deception? Because that gives me a
I
better
deceive
roll.
myself into thinking I know what these are.
Okay, let's see. Investigation. Where are you? There you are. -1. That's not terrible. 13 again.
30. So I think looking at them, you would be able to discern that these are more than just drinks. You would know certainly that they have an alchemical nature to them, certainly based on the various bright colours of them. You wouldn't necessarily off the bat know what they're about, but looking at them, you're pretty sure that Victoria would be able to tell you what they do.
Cool.
Good.
I'm gonna grab one of the pieces of clothing, probably one of the sort of common clothing, maybe a shirt, and I'm going to do a makeshift bag or like pouch, and just scoop all of those in there, so that I've got able to tie them to my belt.
Okay. So you just... Oh, right, you're making a bag out of a shirt to then put all the other clothes in.
Not all the other clothes, all the vials.
Oh, all the vials in. Okay. Oh, and you've got like a backpack, so you can just put your vials in your backpack. That's fine.
Okay, I'll do that.
Every adventure has a backpack, basically.
Are there any like in the fancy clothing? Are there any kind of like nice robes, like
Yeah,
robes?
yeah. There's quite a range of costumes, but costumes isn't the right word. These just look like what people would wear, but of various stations. So it's pretty much an outfit for every different sort of class and ability, merchants, attendants, everyone.
I'm gonna pick up a fancy robed,
Okay.
hooded robe.
Okay.
Myself.
Good. And then with an investigation check of 13 as well, you would also find there are 5 pouches.
Interesting.
Um,
Oh, do we play this game again, Ravenous? We know what happens when you steal pouches of things, but
Go
hey,
ahead, take the pouch. What has
With
ever gone wrong?
with 8 intelligence, one does not learn.
To be
What has
fair,
ever
previous
gone
time you
wrong?
already figured out what to do when something starts screaming. You put it back and shut the lid.
Then you shut it down. Cool,
Make a
okay,
face
I'm
and walk
gonna-
away.
I'm gonna check the pouches.
okay, so
5 of them.
you
Mhm.
so you haven't because you've used your action to already open the chest, so you haven't got like time to like open each one and see what's inside, but you can certainly pick them up and you can take them. That's absolutely fine.
I'll just grab for now.
Cool. So you're just grabbing the pouches. Each of them, the weight of them feels like there's about 100 coin, but you don't know what.
Damn, I'm so rich now.
But you don't know what coin.
Coppers, all coppers.
But it's about, so you got 500 anonymous coins currently. You can work out what at a later date. You still get your movement. That's the contents of the chest.
Cool. There's nothing else to explore within that room. I literally opened.
Yeah, you have.
That I could possibly find.
You've
No.
achieved. You got the 100% exploration achievement for this room. Yes.
Nice.
Ding.
You got the achievement, don't worry.
I guess I would at this point probably try and see where Hala was. Now, would I have been able to hear her?
Yes, she wasn't stealth checking at all, so you'd have heard her claws pattering against the floorboards just to your north.
Okay, so I would probably head towards the room that the direction I last heard Hala go to, because I want to, powwow, see how we're going.
Yeah. So yeah, you heard her skittering along to the north, so you just follow along, and you can go into that room easily enough. Yeah, and you walk into this room, and it's like a weird, like a storage room. You can see there's a door leading outside. You can see there's this this stack of logs that have been dislodged, and there's a lever that's been pulled, and you can see to your side there's an entranceway into what looks like a shadowy staircase leading down. You can see the chair and the half-finished game of medieval solitaire, which is just solitaire, just to your side.
Medieval solitaire, which is just solitaire.
I mean, I really don't know. When was solitaire invented? I have no idea.
Oh.
I'm going to find out.
Does it matter?
So what do you do?
That's the end of, well, that's the end of my turn, is it not?
You still get your bonus action, but yeah, you can't do much with that. So
I
yeah,
mean, if I can...
you got a little bit of movement, so you can get to the top of the staircase with your movement.
Okay. Well, I'll make my way towards what is currently going down the stairs.
Okay, so solitaire was invented in 1746. Anyway, so that is the end of your turn. So that brings us to the guard's turn. So Brooke's taking the dodge action, so he's in full hodl at the minute. So we'll see what happens.
Oh,
Each
that's
card
right.
has a 4% chance to hit.
Oh, so I had this stupid idea of standing in front of Baruch and then taking the dodge action, completely forgetting that he had also taken the dodge action. I am so glad I didn't do that. God.
Well, we just need
10,
more dodge
15,
actions.
20,
Come on, guys.
25, 30. 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Cool. Okay.
I was so afraid he was counting up damage.
Let's see how bad this is.
I mean, yeah, it's almost not worth me rolling for the standard guards because they just have no hope. But let's see what happens. Something, I don't know what Discord has done, but something keeps going wrong. Wow. Okay, so the first one rolled a nat 19 and then nat 16 with +3 equals 19. So the very first guardsman who steps forward, is standard guardsman, takes a spear, charges forward. I don't like what you're doing to Phil. I'm going to try and just shoves forward with his spear. And you're feeling a bit guilty. You don't really want to use this meat shield too much more as a meat shield, so you don't quite bring it in front. You actually try to slap it beside it with your longsword, but you're just a measure too slow. He manages to score a graze across you, and this is the very first attack, so this is unfortunate. Let me just... It's been a while since I've had to roll damage for one of these guys. There we go. So that pathetic.
I haven't had to roll damage in a long time. Yeah, let's keep it that way. Thank you.
So that's 8.
I'm working on it.
So he just steps forward and charges and shoves the spear into your shoulder, and then you take 8 piercing damage. So that's the exact same spot.
Mispronounced 1.
Yeah. So that's the exact same spot where you're taking all the previous whacks during the sewer escapades. So it's just that shoulder slightly weakens anyway, and you just rolls back with the pain, and you feel your grip slightly loosen upon Phil. But yeah, it's 8 piercing damage from the first guard, and he just smiles with this sort of and then prepares to step backwards. Any reaction? Attack of opportunity.
Yep.
Okay.
Done for this guy.
Okay, so yeah, that first guardsman steps backwards. Next guardsman moves in. He would have had a nat 20 if he hadn't dodged.
Yes.
It's a 20 and then a 7, so that brings us to 10. So he just steps forwards, and he's seeing his companion being successful. He's like, "For Phil!" And he just charges forward and charges with his spear and tries to stab you in the gut. But you're on your mark now. You're ready. I mean, also someone calling out for Phil is a pretty good sign they're about to attack you. So you just swing around the longsword, slap aside the spear, no problem. And you're getting a better feel for this longsword now, and it moves better, faster than any longsword you've ever held, and it's like this is a good investment from the blacksmith.
You're welcome.
It's paying off so far so much.
Time for the blackguard.
Uh-oh. There's a lot of guards going on here.
The blackguard moves forward with that massive sword, and he's just moves forward and just hacks forward towards you, and it's all you can do to just about bring around your meat shield in time, and the sword just cleaves straight through his neck and lops it off. The head just slops forward off the body onto the ground. splats there, and there's just blood pouring out, cascading over you, over the floor, over everything. And this blackguard, he doesn't even look concerned. I mean, he's got his helmet on, but he doesn't even look concerned for a moment. Doesn't even pause. Gets around the greatsword again, stabs forward with all the force you can muster, and this time you're just a bit too off. You've got this blood spraying in your face. It's a bit disconcerting. Greatsword manages to strike you. Let's see how he does for damage.
Nice timed oohing there.
By the way, I don't see Baruch's rolls. Is my Discord lagging?
I do have a roll for my HP most recently. So in every spam channel, the very last post should be showing my current HP.
Oh, okay. I was wondering
23.
about the decapitation.
of the guardsman on the meat shield.
That was the meat shield. Oh, I thought Baruch made an attack.
No, sorry. No, sorry. Epic descriptions also apply to the enemy. He was decapitating his friend. Phil just got decapitated by the blackguard.
I was super upset at Baruch if he decapitated a dude.
Yeah, because
did Halal just leave?
I would have also been
Yeah.
extremely disappointed if I got decapitated in that fashion.
Look, if you got decapitated, that's fine. Whatever. We can just put it right back on.
Guys, I don't think we need to get into who's decapitating whom here. I mean,
And
So-
we'll attach them afterwards.
we'll get it afterwards.
So you take what sounds this? Maths, Sam. 18 damage again. It's the exact same number. This is ridiculous.
Wow!
For the record, that brings me to the brink of death.
Ah!
Down to 5, and
Time
that's
for some nice healthy punches.
you've used the second wind already. He just stabs that into your gut, twists, wrenches it free, and this hulking hobgoblin before you, he's looking pretty haggard now, like a lot of the colours washed out from his features, and he's just sort of swaying on the spot. Some of that's because he's taken the dodge action, but a lot of it is because of the blood loss.
Out of it.
But
Now my skin color looks human-like.
but that does bring an end to the blackguard's turn. So the other shitty guards nearby all take their attacks.
Sorry to interrupt. Does he step back as he does that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be a shame?
okay. Are we doing a contested athletics check?
No, but I will be using a superiority dice, and give me a moment to check which maneuver I wanted to pick for this.
Oh, you're just such a saving face hobgoblin.
I can't go with this. It's not good for me or for him. I'm gonna go for
Yeah.
a precision strike just to make sure that this one lands. So this 1d8 goes to attack roll rather than damage. So it's gonna add 6 to it.
Okay, 1 second. To check, has the combat music stopped? Because I'll start it up again.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Hey!
Oh, it's a crit.
Wow.
that crit damage though is just disappointing. But yes,
Crit damage though.
yeah. So you're shoving the greatsword into your gut and twisting, and that time that he's taking to take that malicious vengeance on him, twisting the blade. That's all the moment that Baruch would need. How would you like to describe doing your nat 20?
So the moment it pierces again, it's Burg grunts. He's definitely in quite a bit of pain. But then the blackguard tries to stand back to give more space for all of his guards around, and Burg just roars in pain and lunges towards him. Somewhat just he almost swings it a bit upwards, not as high as the blackguard did the first time, not to hit the ceiling, and just lands it straight onto that blackguard's helmet. And there is enough force that there's a pretty loud crack. And so, the helmet is definitely busted open, but might be something beneath it as well.
Yeah, so you can see almost just a blur of movement, red and armored movement, and then you can actually see the whole helmet, that plate metal helmet, is just staved in, and you can see a rivulet of blood pouring down from this crack in the metal, almost in that moment. Yeah, it's a nasty, nasty blow directly to the head. Unfortunately, only 9. But you get your plus 1d8 damage from your maneuver, so that takes us to a total of 15 damage. So this time you did deal
Not
more.
really, no.
No?
I did mention that this would be a precision attack, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
I would be more than happy to take this back, but no, that goes to attack roll rather than damage.
Oh, you're right. It's to the attack roll, not to the damage. Oh, that's such a shame.
I
Unfortunate.
absolutely regret declaring it before I did, but that's the fair way.
No, that is
Yep.
exactly, yeah. So that makes it a 34 to hit. But yeah, you'd already nat 20'd, so yeah. So it's a perfect, precise attack, but because you were taking your time to make sure you absolutely cracked him on the head, doesn't have a quite full weight of force that you could have put behind it. Even so, he's dazed and he's sort of and he's now bloodied. You can see his movements are just a touch more sluggish, but he's not dead. And he steps back, making space for his subordinates to come rolling in. So, as I say, let's see how they do, because I don't rate their chances with you taking the dodge action. Nope, nope, nope. How many more are there? Nope, nope. Yeah, so they're all moving forward with their spears and trying to thrust at you, and it's almost like a dance with Buruk just, alternately leaps out of the way of one, and as the next one comes in, he just slaps it aside of his longsword. The next one comes in, and he just smashes the body of Phil into the spear as it comes towards him, not even bothering to take the hit with him, just whacks it out of the side. No problem. There's only one person left who can do any kind of serious damage here, and that is the other Black Guard with his light crossbow.
No.
And he takes it, and he's striding forward. Clunk, clunk, clunk. Puts it on top of his arm. He's aiming carefully, waiting for the movements of his friends. And again, you hear that distinctive snap of the string snapping taut, ringing through this art parlor. The crossbow bolt sails across the room at blinding speed, and a little more than a brown blur, and just what would have thunked straight into Buruk's shoulder.
It's Harry in the
Takes
face. I'm joking.
takes Phil's decapitated corpse straight for the neck. If he hadn't been dead already, definitely would have been dead now. So your AC, yeah, it is grim to look at. But poor Phil, I mean, he's already dead, so he's fine. But yeah,
He's
He's
dead,
not
so
fine
he's
because
fine.
he's dead.
so
It's
it
fine,
is
he's
fine. But
Look, desecrating a corpse, it's fine. No one cares about it.
yeah, lucky you
I
for taking that.
him around because there's a bit too much stuff sticking from him by now.
So that is the end of the guard's turn. So that brings us to Buruk, Lyroon, and Nanto's turn.
Just to
wait,
check, the
wait.
painting is
Oh,
mute,
yeah, the
and
painting's turn. So the painting is face down on the ground. Let me just check the painting stat block for 1 second.
And the painting get itself
Sorry,
up.
correction.
Pro.
It's deaf and blind. It's not likely not mute, given it's of all people. It's
I don't think it's deaf either.
Just like you hear muffled explanatives coming out of the painting's mouth.
Yeah, so
such a low stature.
I mean, yeah, I'm checking. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, so the painting is like, I say this is most and then it just starts rising up off the ground, and you suddenly hear his voice calling out, most indignant, and it rises upright and then flops backward onto its back. That was very rude. I will be taking my vengeance very shortly. And he levels his sword. But that is all he's able to do. So he uses telekinesis. Raises himself up, flips him onto his back. He has telekinesis as well. This is the stat block. I'll show you the stat block afterwards.
You know exactly what's going to
Telekinesis
happen
battle!
now, right?
Yeah!
You're just flopping back and forwards for the rest of this game. Right.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen.
Well, let's start with that. So, Nanto.
So, if he flips himself back up, I'm
Yeah.
going to turn around. Can I use my telekinesis to try and flap him back to the
You
ground
absolutely can.
again? Strength save 14.
Okay. Yeah, which he fails. So so he like just rises up in the air and flips himself onto his back, and he starts saying how rude you've been. And immediately, what's your gesture for doing this?
I'm going to look back at him and just be like, "Not now. The adults are talking," and just slap.
Yeah. And so like he just like risen up, and he just started to lower that down. And you just made that slap gesture, and he goes, "Whoom," and he just slaps back onto his face. He's like, "Really now?" He's just so outraged. This poor painting. But yeah, that is, and then some pontification.
I ain't got time for this. The adults are talking. Slap. Anyways, and then doth the moth fly forth from its cocoon, at night the fireflies play.
I'm amazed that you're able to come up with such bullshit on as well. Right, so Vlad, Nanto.
Suggestion. You've still got your movement. It would be a perfect spot to stand. It's a bit of a high rise as well.
I mean, yeah, you could just stand on top of it.
Oh, good.
Oh, I could just stand. Oh, but I feel like I wouldn't want to get flipped off of him, so I'm gonna not chance that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Cool.
All right.
So you stay put.
Baruch, do you want to stab first, or do you want punches to happen first?
It's a difficult
Stab or
question.
punch?
I like all of them, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah, tell you what, debate it, YRP.
Okay, so
Stab or punch?
one of my punches is going to be a heal to you.
Okay.
And the other one of my punches could be a stunning strike.
So, best case scenario, I would be getting rid of the blackguards in this turn, because if we don't, he is going to screw us. Now,
By the way that the thing is set up, though, isn't the blackguard still? They can still get diagonally to through the shield guard apparently, because that's what the blackguard did the last time to get close enough to attack you anyway. Unless they have the 10-foot spears, so unless we get them in the doorway.
The shield guard isn't an entity at the moment.
yeah, shield guard is just for posterity. So
that's what I was
think-
saying. Unless we can get one of the guards in there for you to stunning strike in the doorway, it's probably not really going to be worth it.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, stunning strike on the blackguard so that he doesn't have a turn.
I have a slightly better idea if you allow me to. I do have one throwing attack which might prove useful.
Okay.
If I hit that, the blackguard should be down, and then I would just be going behind us and hoping to basically survive there.
Yeah, because the other issue would then be if you did the stunning strike and then I guess you'd have to step of the wind, and if you still got it, to avoid attacks of opportunity.
Okay. Have you worked out your plan?
No.
Mr. DM, I've got a few questions at this point.
Mm.
First off, when I'm throwing an improvised weapon, do I still get 2 attacks per turn?
You're a fighter, so yeah. You get 2 attack actions. You get 2 attacks per action.
Yeah, that is excellent. Because as it so happens, I have exactly 2 vials of acid.
Oh god, Geneva Convention, where are you? Help?
I'm trying to remember where you got the acid. I remember it happening, but I can't remember what from.
He has an alchemy jug.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
it.
yeah.
You poured them carefully out. This is critical role territory. Yeah, go for it.
It's not
Okay.
critical role. That's exactly what the alchemy jug is for.
Yeah.
No, the alchemy jug is for mayonnaise. We all know this.
I've seen some wonderful mayo usage of the alchemy jug, to be fair.
As
Yeah.
much
It
as I
is
like having
absolutely
8
for
gallons
mayonnaise.
of salt water, we are on the low ground, so it's a bit of a trouble. And
You
as
have the
much
low
as it
ground.
as much as it pains me to throw acid onto that beautiful plate armor, I think it's time.
I mean,
I'm going to drop the guardsman for the moment, and I'm going to sheath my longsword and just pull one of those files off my belt and just check it in the blackguard.
so that would
and
be. Let me think about it, because it's your free action to sheath your longsword and pull out. If it's on your belt, I'll allow it. Yeah, fine. But you won't be able to get your longsword back out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, go for it.
And I think it's an improvised weapon, which means it's going to be my dexterity to throw.
Yeah,
Plus no proficiency.
yeah, exactly.
That's not going to be a lot.
But I'll take into account that there is just enemies in front of you.
Yeah, fair enough. So I am aiming for the blackguard right ahead, but where
Okay.
plans, where plans.
Exactly.
Where's
Oh, but you get a nat 16. Let me just check his armor class though.
Doesn't acid have special rules about damage?
Very
Or am I
much
thinking
so.
of-
An acid vial says that on shattering on impact, make a ranged attack against a creature or object, treating acid as improvised weapon. On
Okay.
a hit, the target takes
It
2d6 acid
specifically
damage.
it specifically says ranged attack.
Yeah.
I was thinking save for whatever reason.
You're thinking of poisons.
So you hurl your vial of acid towards this man in front of you in plate armor, and it's shattered dead center in the middle of the chest, and just a splatter of acid washes out in every direction. And it just starts bubbling away at the armor, but it's plate armor.
Yep, it's a bit of a shame.
Unfortunately, it's tarnished it. But plate armor confers an AC of 18, so unfortunately, it doesn't do much.
That's a shame. Well, luckily, I do have a second one, which I'm going to throw right past the first one. Hopefully, now that the armor's a bit weakened, that will go a bit better. Let's see. No, it doesn't. I think I may have shattered that one onto the ceiling.
Oh, Burke, I'm sorry. Basically, the way I was ruling it is that if you're a bit inaccurate, it's going to hit someone else. If you just miss, you're going to hit him, but it's plate armor, so it's good. But with a nat 1, the second throw, you take the second vial of acid from your belt that you prepared earlier, and you huck it, and it just sails off and just splats into. It actually catches one of the multitude, this forest of daggers and spears surrounding the doorway, and just shatters across that. And you see the length of the wood spear and the actual metal of it start dissolving, and it just clatters to the ground in front of you. But to no avail, unfortunately, both your vials of acid was wasted.
Yeah, that's fair. So at that point, I think Burke is just retreating, squeezing past Lyroon. Hold it for now. I'll be back. And
I'll be back.
Squeezing past Lyroon, squeezing past Nanto into the corner just above Nanto. I think the building was somewhere close
So,
to that point.
Burke starts to make as if he's going to move backwards. Lyroon, what do you do?
I punch him.
Bam!
Yes.
Right, so yeah, remind me how the healing. Is it only on your flurry of blows, or is it just any punch?
No, I can replace one of my flurries of blows.
So you have to be punching baddies, and then one of your flurry of blow punches can be.
Right.
Yeah. So you will be doing a swap.
Finish that up with an uppercut to Baroque.
Yeah. So there is a slight trickiness to this. So I think Burke would have to move there, and then you can move. Hang on. If you do it like that, it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, so Burke steps back. It's just like you take the pain. I'm gonna slip back for a moment. The saving face, and then the saving life, and then Lyroon steps forward fiercely towards the wall of foes.
Nice. But
So
more importantly, I'm going to heal Baroque for 9.
Okay.
Yay!
9. It's the maximum healing. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so but first, because that's the follow up after that's your flurry of blows. So let's see how you do. Who are you punching? How are you punching?
Blackguard. I am
Who
going.
and how?
Blackguard. Actually, let me roll that. So that's 3 attacks because I'm replacing one of them. That's just damage. What? Sorry.
Your damage.
Yeah, I only damaged him.
Look, I don't hit him. I only damage.
Only damage. Welcome to my only dams.
Okay, that's 22 for 6 damage.
That is a hit. It's definitely 22 is definitely a hit. So punch. Second punch is definitely a hit as well. Let's see what your damage is like on that. So that's 2 punches plus your flurry of blows. So that's 3. Do you get any more than that?
Yeah, flurry of blows is 2 punches, and
Cool.
so it's 4 total. And I used 1 for healing. and
Yeah.
I
So you
did
give me
2.
1 more punch.
So 1 more punch, and
Like
that's
one punch now.
16 doesn't hit.
It does not, unfortunately. So
Here's damage anyways, just because I don't care.
let me just keep track of this. So there was.
I don't care for your rules. I play by my own.
Exactly.
Cruise.
I think I need. Wait. So yeah, I've got a healing punch. I've got your 6 damage hit. I've got your 11 damage hit, and now I've got your 9 damage hit. Yes, that's everything. Okay. Although the 9 damage misses. So
Look, it can hit if you want to. All right?
so Lyroon steps forward.
Lyroon steps forward after quickly pressing a healing hand to Baruch against his most grievous chest wound. And I go for because plate armor has weak points around like armpits and whatnot, and as he's holding his sword, it's just fadonk right in there, and then another fadonk.
The fadonk.
The fadonk
I know,
attack.
it's like a badunk, but a fadonk. It's great.
That's the sound it makes, all right?
So
I'll believe you.
Look, have you ever punched an armored man in the armpit? I have.
I can't say that I have.
So Lyroon steps forward. Yeah, exactly as you described. So it's just that moment to lay a hand, and it's just that grievous wound to his gut. It just knits over a measure as Lyroon harnesses the hobgoblin's chi, just making him just a little bit less on death's door, but then turns his attention straight towards the black guard, which conveniently shortens the blackguard. Yeah, it does convenient, and he just swam, just takes his palm and slaps it into one of the armpits, slam it into the weak point of the plate armor, and then just tries to ram an elbow straight into the center of the gut, but it just rebounds harmlessly. But the first 2 blows, it's taking significant damage. He's getting there.
This is non-lethal.
No, yeah, but he's getting there. He was already like a little bit swaying from Burrick's follow-up blow, but now he's well on the way. He can't take much more of that kind of punishment, and the other guards are starting to look like confused that their leader seems to be suffering from the way of the blows. They seem to think of him as impervious.
And before I end my turn, so continue. But I have something before I end my turn.
Sorry.
Continue.
Oh.
But before I have something to add.
No, that was about it.
Okay, cool. And as I do a flurry of super elven attacks on this blackguard, I look to the guards and say, "Stand down. This is not your fight. He is not a person worth fighting for." Sorry, I don't say he. I say Flashheart is not a person worth fighting for.
Ooh. He like taking down his reputation. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fine.
Maybe a persuasion check, but at disadvantage given the circumstance.
The circumstance that we're awesome.
That you're outnumbered.
That's not a disadvantage.
You're outnumbered and in a sexy dungeon.
I mean,
Again, I think that speaks more of the DM than anything else.
I think being in a sex dungeon means that I should get advantage.
Because he's so.
I mean, if you had the whip in hand.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, even without disadvantage, that's bad. But yeah, it's a 4. So yeah, your words ring out across the room, and they're looking to their commander and looking a bit concerned, and looks back to you and he's like, "Huh?"
They're looking at him like, "Nah, mate."
I think, and then they just look to each other and like, pays our wages, and so yeah, it just rings. No effect. So, sorry.
He pays us.
He pays us.
Yeah.
So
Come on.
It's a fair point. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not on their side about this, but it's a fair point.
So Burrick. So you stepped back. Was there anything else you wanted to do on your turn?
Don't think there's much I can do. So I've sheathed my sword. I've tried throwing 2 vials. I've stepped back.
Oh yeah, you threw your 2 vials.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think that's the end of my turn. Really.
That's you. So that is the end of the active combatant's turn. So that takes us back to Halla and Ravenous. I'm not slashing through these quite as fast as I hope, but that's always the way with me. So
Told you not to
I
expect
think
what
I
you
think
want
you're
to
going
happen.
exactly as fast as I thought you would.
Yeah, pretty much.
there's so
would
many
totally agree
jokes
with
that you
you
can
there.
make. So Halla.
And I meant none of them.
Yeah. No, Sammy will. So Halla, you'd dash back, you'd hidden behind a wall to watch this guardsman come out. You can just peer around the wall. You can see this guardsman step down, and he's standing in front of the cell door, in front of this noble prisoner. What do you do?
Look like a basic bitch guard. I mean, a basic punk guard.
No,
Basic bitch.
he looks like a basic bitch guard. Yeah, you don't know who else is around. But this guy looks like a basic bitch.
Hey, does this smell like chloroform?
I mean, that's the thing. Like,
It's the ultimate chat up line.
can I perception check to see if there's anyone else in the vicinity?
You certainly may. So you can listen for a moment, see if you can work out if there's anyone else nearby, if they're talking, if they're smelling, whatever.
Ooh.
Talking or smelling.
15.
To 15, you can distantly make out the sound of what sounds like people gambling.
Interesting.
So there are still more people.
Out of sight, but within sound.
You mean to tell me I didn't lure in all the cards?
Seemingly not. And actually, that's an interesting point that you raise. So the moment that Halla went down these steps,
Interesting.
I think with a perception of 15, you would notice this.
Uh-oh.
You can't hear the fighting upstairs.
Interesting. I
Very
like this eventuality.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very interesting.
Some kind of soundproof torture basement.
You have to say it like
There's a
that.
sex dungeon,
I mean,
a soundproof torture basement. Like,
I mean, I was gonna say it if he didn't say it, 'cause
Yeah.
it was pretty obvious to me.
Whips and chains can't break me. So, Halla,
Oh,
what do you do?
battle cry.
Oh, that's your battle cry.
Yeah. So the interesting,
over and over.
so the interesting consequence of this is you cannot hear Ravenous at the top of the steps. So you got no idea she's there.
I'm being stealthy anyway, so.
Yeah. So what do you do, Halla?
I mean, the biggest issue is that unfortunately, this guy. I don't know if the other people have clear sight of him. Like when he was coming over, did it take a while? Like, did it sound like he rounded the corner?
I'll show you the exact route. Because you'd have slipped around the corner. You'd have seen him do this.
So straight line. Great. Very insightful.
So he came out from behind this, there's a slight stone wall there.
Okay, yeah, we didn't see that because, the rest of it's blacked out,
Yeah.
so we can only see the straight line.
No, you can see this stone wall here. And then there's a gap.
We can't see what
There's a gap here, and there's a gap here. So you know that you'd be able to get about this far, and whoever's over here, if there is anyone over here, wouldn't be able to see you if you were this far where the light source is. But of course, there's still a guard standing right here staring at the noble prisoner.
Smack dab.
That's the unfortunate thing because then I can't lure him out without it being suspicious. Because
If you can lure him to where you are currently, then you're fine. But yeah, I mean, they can see him. But they're guards. We're guards. We're guards.
It's like catcall.
I mean, that's a good idea, but the question is how? Because
I just gave you an entire reason to do it.
We're guards.
They were saying stick the armor plate, the plate armor things on them. But the only means I could really do that is if I got him to come out. And a lot of things have to work. I have to get him to come out, get him back down the stairs without me being down the stairs, stunning strike him so he can't say the password. And then just have the things go ham on him, and then I guess the other guys just come out thinking that this like lost their shit and try to fight it, and I just kind of scurry way upstairs and let them do the work. But the question is, how do I get him to me?
I
I
mean,
mean-
frankly, with how our rolls have been going so far, that seems perfectly reasonable plan to me.
If I
And now you
So-
jinxed it.
yeah, I know you jinxed it. No, don't just carry on, fine. But if you think about, your objective here is to find damning evidence.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I have like the damning evidence and stuff, but I also have like Hala's mindset of really wanting to find her friend.
Oh, then,
That's very true.
but you can't do that alone. So
This kind of seems like a
mean-
place where her friend might be.
yeah,
And if there's supposed to be like a torture thing, and you just said like my friend, you took away my friend, would I know if Will and him knew each other?
they weren't close
Ah.
friends.
Okay.
They'd have been acquaintances at best. Yeah. You're pretty sure he's not referring to her.
Okay. And that's where the other thing comes in, because this is where my brain works. Because it could be that they've been here long enough that they forged a friendship. So again, this is where my brain goes.
I think
Yeah.
that's a fair point.
Yeah. So,
But that's where
I mean,
player brain is. The character, I don't think she'd think that far.
6 intelligence is tough. I think from what you've seen, so far, I mean, you've got pretty decent evidence from the logbooks where you know from Michaela that Will's been captured. You know she's not at Shroot Farms. You know there's been a payment to do with Will, but that she hasn't turned up at Shroot Farms yet. So it'd be logical to assume she's here somewhere. So I think you'd be operating on the assumption she's here somewhere.
And this seems like a good place to hide a person.
Yeah, and you're in some kind of prison dungeon, so probably somewhere around here
Yeah.
somewhere. But you've also seen
Silent torture dungeon.
a silent torture dungeon. But you've also seen a pair of animated armors and a guardsman, and you can hear there's more guardsmen. So, and as far as you're aware, you're on your own down here.
How fast can I get to the other side of town to get more guards over here? Because I think I have enough evidence for. Unfortunately, I don't have any evidence on me. At least, not my character doesn't have any evidence on me.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as you're aware,
Well, no, I mean, having stumbled across this secret passage dungeon,
I
think
have
that's a lot of evidence.
I have visual evidence, but nothing I can bring with me.
yeah, it's
Doesn't-
her word.
I would have to bring the person that was stolen, and even then, it's still probably a persuasion check.
It's her word against Lord Flash Arts, and she's a noble, so it's tough.
That's where
But-
the evidence would have to come in, like physical evidence, hard evidence, not something like. As at this point, it's just a he said, she said situation. As far
Yeah,
as
but if-
Hala, what Hala has on her.
If Hala was to go to the guards and be like, "Look, I've just found this secret torture dungeon. Would you come with me to look?" I don't feel like a lawman would go, "Never."
I mean, again, that's a persuasion check because it's going to Flash Heart's manner. If I neglect to
Oh,
say
okay,
Flash
yeah,
Heart,
yeah,
if I neglect to say
yeah.
Flash
Okay,
Heart,
Yeah. Anyway, there's only one way to find out. So what do you do?
yeah. So okay, yeah. Sorry. Unfortunately I couldn't think about all of this at the time earlier before my turn. A puppy got into my backyard, so now we're
Oh.
kind of just taking care of it.
The puppy. Send it through your microphone right now.
So we're trying to figure out who he goes to. But
Take him to a vet, get him scanned. They'll have the microchip log number. It's fine.
that's what I suggested.
Unless of course
Take it from
the,
me.
unless of course the microchip isn't actually logged. I've had
Well,
that happen 3 times so far.
It doesn't
It's
even have a
illegal.
he doesn't have a collar on him, so again, that's where the big thing comes in. But anywho, back to D&D.
Back to the game.
Back to the game.
So what do you do? So you're in this side prison. You got the 2 animated armors who are questioning you for a password on your way in. You can see this guardsman walk towards the prison cell. What do you do?
Plays with the puppy.
I play with the puppy.
That's what I do, man. It's good.
I guess like the only thing I can really think of is if I want to try and lure this guy, because again, I heard the other people, but I'm also small, so it would be real. All I gotta do is go up to that and that side of the wall and just kind of walk under the window.
Yeah.
If there's like, if there's those are windows over there, right, for them to see through the other side.
Well,
Like I just
here.
can't see. Like, yeah, where like pretty much where you have my person now.
That's a
Are those
door.
doors, but is there like a window or like a part where they can see in through it?
No, it's a
To the
solid.
other side?
That's a solid wooden door. These bits are just open, but 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 that
Stretched into another one.
but that's a solid door.
Because the only thing I'm thinking of is while I'm in there, I can try throwing a dart to the stairs to have it go up the stairs. And again, I don't know if it would to have the guy go upstairs and then come behind him and then try the stunning strike.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Get him to
We're
go
going
up
full
the stairs
Skyrim
and
here.
behind him.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
We're Skyrimming.
That's I'll go for that. I'll try it because again, I don't really know what else I can do. I'm trying to be in Hala's mindset. So I'm gonna have Hala use one of her attacks to throw a dart up the stairs.
And
to
then
see
it
if-
immediately hits Ravenous in the booty.
So you're
Well,
throwing
I
a
mean,
dart
pretty much-
up the stairs.
Well, like pretty much hit it at the stairs, essentially, but just far enough to where he can.
So you try to draw him in your direction, make a noise sound on the
Yeah.
stairs. Okay,
Yeah.
give me an attack roll. Let's just see generally
How
how
loud
you're
you are
throwing your
with it.
dart.
Okay.
Pretty good dart throw. So yeah, you take out one of the darts in your brace and you just huck it, and it just clinks against one of the stairs. And immediately the guard who's standing before the noble guy and give him some kind of threatening action. Just head turns towards the stairs. What was that? And he just turns around and starts walking towards that direction.
Must have been the wind.
Must have been the wind.
So it's just a 5, 10,
I'll
15,
essentially
20, 25.
position myself where he wouldn't be able to see me.
Yeah, so you're just hiding outside, just in the
Like that
corner.
little wall,
Yeah, and just waiting for him to walk past. And yeah, it takes his normal movement to get about this far, and then he just can't see anything. Actually, let me just give me a perception check. Yeah, so he's
The silhouette of a tailed creature.
and so he's looking around. You can see this dart embedded into the rock because you threw it with such accuracy and force that it's actually embedded into the stones.
Oh,
What?
shit.
What is that? And he's just striding forwards, taking better investigation towards it. Ooh.
This then.
And then disappears into
And
another
it
dimension.
evaporates. And he's just, what is that? And he just moves forward towards this dart that's embedded in the rock. And he's just like bending forward and staring at it and trying to work out what's going on. What do you do?
So he run up to him. I still wouldn't be like I would be at the point where I wouldn't activate the armor plates, but he would if I bring him back down, right?
Depends how they work. You don't know.
Yeah.
You might, once you've said the password, I'm sure that they don't engage again.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We're about to find out. Run up to him, stunning strike.
Okay, so give me an attack roll.
Would I get advantage?
Yes, you're an unseen attacker because he's bent forward staring at a rock. A dart embedded into a rock.
What's all this
He
then?
has some real good intelligence. What's that?
I mean-
Oh my gosh, you gotta hate this.
Oh,
a 13.
no.
I mean,
Oh,
you
that's not too bad.
guys had to use up your luck at some time, but yeah, 13 is actually not too bad at all. So,
Average.
give me
Hit.
what's your DC?
My DC is features and traits. Where's my DC? Where did it go?
It doesn't matter if you rolled a nat 4.
14.
Yes!
It doesn't matter you rolled a nat 4. So immediately, Hala, as soon as he's like bending forward and like presenting his rear as he's just investigating this dart, and he's like, "Wait, what?"
Raising.
And he just runs forward and just smash straight to the coccyx bone, and this is reverberating, paralyzing sensation spreads throughout his body, right up his spine. He just less horrible sounding than that. He's just paralyzed in that moment. He is stunned. You can tell from that moment. So you've got the rest of your attacks. So you've got the rest of whatever you want to do. The animated armors, the heads lock onto you, but they don't do anything just yet.
Okay.
Thank you, darling.
I will, I guess, say the passphrase again, and I will be tying. If I am permitted, I will begin to tie him up.
Okay. Have you got rope?
Bound. Yes. Stuff that I normally carry.
Yeah.
I want to bind and gag him.
Okay. So I mean, he's stunned. So the way it works with stuns is you can only talk like intermittently and not in any kind of sensicalness. You've also got your I don't know if you remember, you got your custom homebrew item, your grapple bands, which probably work quite well for you in this situation. But you do indeed have rope of 50 feet. So yeah, you just smack straight into the coccyx bone. You just like, and then immediately take out your rope and start binding him up, and you just got him immediately pinned to the ground on top of the staircase. You are a wrestler of the gladiator arena. You are well used to taking out someone like this. You speak the passphrase to the animated armors behind you, and like their metallic helmets turn towards you, and they're watching, but they aren't acting just yet, especially with the passphrase. Daggerford dalliances, and they're just watching as you bind this man.
Because they're not just looking at, they're probably just not looking at just me, they're also looking at him.
Yeah, they're a bit confused.
Good point.
Okay.
I'm much more confused.
So
worst comes to worst, I will just have to run out of here and with what I have. But
so you got 20 foot. You've used up 20 foot of movement to get to him. You've used up an attack, and yeah, I'm going to say an attack action to bind him. So you still get your bonus action. What do you do?
Could I search his person for the key if he has keys?
Not for a bonus action.
Yeah. So that'll be my next.
That'll be your next move. Okay. So I think that's everything. Unless there's anything else.
Nope. I guess I will just. That'll be it.
Okay. So at the top of the stairs, Ravenous, you can't hear shit downstairs, but you can see downstairs. You see a pretty strange scene play out before you silently. So yeah, as I say, you're at the top of those stairs, so you can see this guy. You can see a dart suddenly appear in the staircase before you. You see a guardsman walk forward and like, what's this? And staring down into the dart, and you see Hannah run up and just smash him in the coccyx bone and then tie him up. But all of it plays out in perfect silence.
Interesting.
And you're just stood at the top of the staircase watching this play out.
Okay. So, I walk onto the ceiling because that's something I like doing.
That absorbs about 10 feet of movement.
I'm going to minor illusion a pile of logs into the way of the entrance because I see the logs have been moved.
Oh, so the logs were covering up a lever that activated it, but you can, if you wanted to cover up the entrance, you can make like a stone wall, certainly.
Yeah, but if a guard walks in and goes, where's the logs? Where's the door?
Yeah, so it would be obvious, certainly.
Oh, so was I not aware that the logs existed?
Yeah, you saw the logs when you walked in, and you've seen the stone lever that's been, the lever that's been revealed and pulled, and you've seen the wall that slid away to reveal the secret entrance.
I see. So could I minor illusion both? No, I'll just minor illusion back the log pile, surely.
They'll still see the entrance open.
But that was covered by the log pile.
No. The log pile covered a lever to open the stone entrance.
Yeah, fuck my life. Okay, fine. I minor illusion a wall to pretend it's not open.
Okay, so the lever will be revealed, but the wall is still sealed.
So they won't be as suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
So there, yeah, I'm on the wall. I go, bing, there's a wall there.
Okay.
And then I start making my way down towards Hala on the ceiling.
Okay, so you're walking down the ceiling towards the staircase, and as soon as you pass through a certain point, about 5 foot down, suddenly the volume of downstairs reaches your ears, and the volume of upstairs ceases. So all the battle that's happening of Nanto, Burke, and Lyroon cuts out, but what you can hear is the weird, noble complaints of some prisoner down the corridor. You can see Hala. Well, you can see her anyway, and this prisoner who's just slumped in front of her, and you can see the two sentient armors. Their helmets twist towards you, stood atop the ceiling, and they just in unison go, "Password." Hala,
I
I'll
just
allow you.
panic. I was gonna say I panic and I just look at Hala like, fuck.
Actually, you can use
Why-
your
Yes,
Not-
telekinesis.
Telepathy.
telepathic powers.
I use my telepathy. Hala, what the heck? You got down
Dagger
here.
for
What's the
dialysis, dagger for dialysis, dagger for dialysis.
So,
Panic.
yeah, so it's just
I
this.
whisper it.
Password receives too many times. Initiate attack.
So this is a frantic
You can respond back with telepathy.
Yeah. So there's this frantic telepathic conversation, and Dagwood Daniels
I'm like,
you get the password, you announce it, and they just
I don't announce it. I whisper it.
you whisper it,
Who knows what's down here?
and they just settle back down. And there's this guardsman stunned before you. And you can see they're stunned. You can see their eyes are rolling, their bodies sort of twitching uncomfortably, and you can see Hala's just busily like wrapping them up in rope, and they look like one of the guardsmen of this place. But you're in what appears to be some kind of underground basement dungeon, from what you can tell.
Am I able to drag? I assume once he's tied up, am I able to drag him to the just above the point where the sound from downstairs disappeared? Like the sound from upstairs disappeared.
So you're currently on a ceiling.
So I use the remainder of my movement that I didn't
Yeah.
use coming
So
downstairs.
you use your 10 foot of movement to get onto the ceiling. You move about 5 foot of movement
5 foot.
forwards to get into the very top of the staircase. It would take the rest of your movement to get down to where he is currently.
Well, I guess I'm doing that then, aren't I?
Okay. Anything else for your turn?
Am I able to have a telepathic conversation with Hala to ask, what's our plan here? What have you found?
Yeah, I think you can have a very brief discussion. I'll allow 1 sentence reply from Hala.
Yeah.
Puppies!
Kill them
I mean,
all.
No.
That's why I had to go away. There was the puppy. The puppy doesn't like to be alone.
Aww, put him through the microphone right now. I'll look after him.
Yeah, we'll look
I have-
after him.
We have other people in the household. They're
Okay,
looking after him.
All right. So
But let's see something really quick. Another oh gosh, I gotta get back my accent. Another gladiator. Not Will. Other guards.
Okay.
Okay, so just sharing the key bits of knowledge that there is another gladiator who's not Will, and there are other guards
And I
downstairs.
just nod in understanding.
Okay,
To,
so that brings your turn to a close. That brings your turn to a close. So
time for the action to resume upstairs.
Now for the action.
the
In
action.
the sex
Let's see how
dungeon.
much damage Lyroon takes.
Alright, you gotta go to the Rocky and Bowl and go. Now for something you'll really enjoy.
So
I'm guessing 30 damage.
so Lyroon, you'd stepped forward. You'd done your
How much
punch.
health do you have?
You'd done I think you'd done a flurry of blows punch to Burek, which means you have not dodge actions.
Correct.
What's your AC?
Back out there.
My AC is 19.
It's a
18.
40.
18.
40.
18.
18.
Would you like to pick up a guard with you?
I actually here's an interesting thing. If I wield a shield, I no longer count for unarmored defense.
Good
Oh
point
yeah,
there.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there
Wield a
happens to be a decapitated torso to you.
If I wield a shield, my AC goes down.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of makes sense that carrying one extra body when you're supposed to be the nimblest person around isn't
Mm.
working.
Right. I love
Yeah,
how we
but-
immediately went to, oh yeah, the body. Not an actual shield. No, we're talking about bodies.
There are no shields. There is only a decapitated corpse. Odin! Odin's making an appearance. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, the most important player of the series is
I
the
got
dog.
a big
Odin-
puppy. Oh,
He's
He's
so
the good
cute.
pupper.
mwah, he's just the best, and I
One
love him
day-
so much.
One day I'm
Mwah.
gonna come and meet him, and he won't hate me. He will love me, and he will be my best friend, and I will give him pets.
Of course, just give him a bit because he's a little worried about people he doesn't recognize.
It's
And
fine. I'll,
he
just
will
come,
love
I'll
you.
come with the tastiest like treat that he's ever seen in his life, and be like, "Hey, Odin, here's a treat," and he'll be like, "I love you."
Yeah, we'll come over and pet and hug Odin and probably say hi to you as well.
Look, I am fully aware that the priorities for, meeting us both is Odin, then maybe Steven if there's time.
Maybe. I mean, you're kind of pushing it there, so.
Yeah, exactly. But Odin, of course.
Odin, obviously. We know you. We don't know Odin. We've never heard Odin speak in
Exactly.
real
You
life.
have?
We have.
We've
Sure,
never,
speak
we've
a
never
lot.
been
Oh,
face, we've never been
I've heard
face to
more.
face and heard him speak. Okay, my telepathy.
Face to face,
it doesn't-
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Sorry about that.
no, I needed time to roll up all the attacks.
Stop!
So the first person to step forward is the Blackguard. They're going to be stepping forward. What do you do when they step away? Are you going to be attack of opportunity? Are you going to be grappling? What do you do?
I am going to punch them with a stunning strike.
Okay. Let's have that because that's going to determine a lot of the rest of what happens.
Sure
my.
thing.
my.
Boop, 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 boop.
But the
boop,
first
boop,
person is the Blackguard, yeah.
boop, 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 boop. Why can't I words?
Why can't
Words fail you.
Does an 18 hit?
Yeah, better.
Hang on, let me check.
18 does hit spot on. Play
It is exactly what you needed.
Cool.
So
Alright,
the
that's
number.
18 to hit for 7 damage, and it is a DC, I think, 23 con save.
What?
I don't think it's quite that.
I'm looking for DC 14.
DC
No,
14.
definitely. I think 23 was fine. I think we can just go with 23. There's no point in bogging down the session. We can just go with 23.
Look, we'll
Right.
fix it in post.
We'll
That
fix it in post.
just the ridiculous luck of this session.
Oh my god, it worked!
Yes!
Right. Well. Anyway, so this hulking fellow in this black plated armor steps forward with his great sword, and obviously you only get to take this attack after he tries to step away. Swings once, and this grievous wound is cleaved across your chest, and it's just blood running down in rivulets, and it's sewn deeply into your person. Let me just grab what that was.
Gives himself a cheeky little punch and heals that right out there.
So it's,
right out. We'll buff out this.
So that's 13
Flesh wound.
13 damage from the first strike. So just, and he just swings it around in a tight curl around with the backswing, swings it back forth, another horrific wound carved across Lyroon's chest. So there's 2 strikes, each one landing home, and the second one does 10 damage. So it's 23 damage now in total to Lyroon.
That's 23 damage so far. I was thinking 30.
There's 2 arcs of blood spraying out, one from the left, one to the right, and this hulking black armored fella. And he's not exactly steady on his feet at this point. He's taking pretty bad bloody beating from Burrick, and Lyroon. He just starts taking a step backwards, and immediately Lyroon's fist, bam, just slaps outwards towards him with the stunning strike. What was your damage roll?
7.
7. Add that.
So
Oh
in
no,
total,
that's...
he's taken 19, followed by another 9 or 8. I don't remember a second hit from me.
So it's at 52 total.
Uh,
Yeah, 52 total. So just wham! Immediately just launches out with that fist and just slams straight into where the armor connects between his neck and then the shoulder. And Lyroon, it's been around for quite a few hundred years, in fact, at least a couple 100 years, long enough to understand exactly where to hit someone in plate armor to deal the maximum damage. And you just where it smacks, he's already weakened. He's already taken quite a bad blooding, and he's just stuck. He's just standing there, swaying uncomfortably, unsteadily on his feet, and he's unable to get out of the way of his companions.
Get out of here.
The next fellow lays a hand on his commander's shoulder and pulls him out of the way.
Oh, son of a beast.
How dare you think it?
I'm afraid that is something that can happen because you can't resist it and you can't do anything about it.
Is that not his action to move him?
Yes, it is indeed. And as well, Beric's out of range, so yeah, he just pulls him out of the way. No problem. The rest of the guards move in and start attacking. Lyrin's on the front line anyway. And they start stabbing. So they charge forward with their spears, thrusting towards the ever agile monk. And he's agilely, ducking and weaving between them. I think the combat music stopped again.
Yep. Rhythm died.
Let's have... I think it's time.
For what?
Time.
No!
So the guards are charging in with their spears. The first one comes charging forwards, and Lyroon just immediately steps out of the way, slaps the spear out of the way, and it just digs into the stonework, no problem. The second one comes charging in, thrusts it towards him, and it takes him straight through just above the hip, just scoring along the bone, along his hips. That is... It was a very disappointing damage. Yeah, so it's 5 damage. Just scoring along his hip, just scoring along the bone, and just cutting free, and then he wrenches it free. The fourth guard comes charging in, thrusts, and Lyron's still...
Damage should I take from the spear?
It's 5. You're taking 5 damage so far. 5 damage so far. 5 damage so far from that spear. From the initial... Because you also took, what was it, 13 plus 10?
23.
Yeah, so you took 23
minus 5.
And then another 5. Next guy comes running in, thrusts forward with his spear, and Lyron is still reeling from the various wounds taking him. The spear just glancing along his body. He's not quite ready for it, but it is a barely glancing blow. It's little more than a nick across his flesh. 2 damage. Literally 1d8 plus 1d8 plus 1. So it's 2 because he rolled a 1. Next guard comes charging forward, thrusts, and Lyroon is ready. He's just about gathered his wits around him. He starts slapping a spider, various spears coming towards him. Wham, wham, wham. No more of the spear thrusts manage to take Lyroon. The other guards come running forward across the room.
They won't be able to do anything.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
By the way, question, Nanto. Just as a backup option in case your charm doesn't work as well as we expect, have you got a fireball for this?
No.
Because it would be perfect.
It looks like a fireball place.
I absolutely do not have a fireball for this.
That's a shame.
Okay, so the other black guard continues marching forward. He's got that light crossbow ready, slaps another bolt into it, levels it across his forearm, holding it, raising it, aiming carefully, and just waiting for the various movements of his various subordinates. Squeezes the trigger, and you can hear that ever familiar snap of the string snapping taut, and the crossbow bolt flies forward across the room, and it funks harmlessly a good foot above Lyroon's head.
Yeah! My favorite thunk is a harmless thunk.
That is a good thunk, right there.
And Lyroon survived. He's weathered the storm at the front of the entrance, but he's not in a good way.
I was guessing 30 damage, and I think I took, 32?
Yeah, you're about right. It's a scary proposition to be in. Thoroughly outnumbered. There's a lot of guardsmen outside. But
Fine.
But there's some quality poetry being spoken. Speaking of which,
Serious rhymes.
that is the end of the guardsman's turn.
So how many rounds have we had so far? Was this 6th?
No, I think that...
Let's just guess 10.
I think you're about 8. This is how I guess it. 7 or 8. But I'll go back and properly work it out afterwards. But you've got at least a couple of rounds yet. So.
I think we're at turn 9. There's one, from my estimation, there's one more round, and then the spell's complete.
We'll see. So, Bert, Nanto, Lyroon, what do you do?
Oh, I'm drinking a potion and dodging.
Potion and dodge.
And dark potion.
Go. So yeah, action to drink the potion, key point, patient defense, dodge action. Burke, what do you do?
I'm going to drink a potion as well.
Okay.
Making very, very careful to make sure that it's a potion of healing and not one of the other vials.
Potion of fireball, please.
Potion of fireball.
I literally just wigged down a fucking acid vial and I'm dead.
To be fair, I've heard acid is actually pretty tasty.
And then Nanto.
I've never partaked.
So obviously at the end of the guardsman's turn, the painting tries to levitate itself and flip itself over. So I assume you're still continuing this battle.
I am still gonna slap it right back down on its stupid face.
And
What
yeah,
are you doing? Get back down here.
that is no problem. It's got a strength score of 5, which gives you quite a serious negative modifier because it's a painting. Like they're not very strong. So you
You're
can
not
just
supposed to fight back.
yeah. So it just sort of rises up out of the air and starts to flip itself over. It's like really now, and I
And then bam.
this is a private and you just slap it back onto its front again. And you just hear the muffled version of Sanctum ring out. But yeah, let's hear another lyric.
Oh boy. And gather your fruits, and gather your grasses, and feel the flowers beneath your feet.
Oh, I was waiting for feel the flowers
Yeah,
beneath
I
your
was hoping
asses.
So, Lyroon takes on the role of Hodor, and yeah, it's
No,
let's see what
it's still
happens.
too fresh.
And you know, there's quite a horde of guardsmen outside now. This is pretty much every guard, from what you can tell from this horde, is every guard in the mansion now, or at least on the first through third floors of the mansion, is standing at your door, trying to batter their way in. Into
Every
two.
single guard.
All I'm saying, if things go too far south, one hunger of Hadar might fix this.
We
Really
haven't seen
would.
those milky tentacles lately.
Y'all don't.
Yeah, It's
Oh,
well
don't
over
worry,
100
I'm
damage.
saving my milky tentacles for you.
So, that takes us to the end of your guys' turn, unless there's anything else.
Mm, I'm
Okay.
just rapidly checking if there's anything I could do.
Yeah, you're downing a healing potion.
Yeah, so that's my action, which means I can't really use my bonus actions to attack.
Yeah, you already did your second wind. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
it.
no, everything's done.
So,
It does-
that brings us to the end of your turn. And meanwhile, yeah, Nanto's still announcing his witty poetry. And you can see there's some guards starting to, like, their eyes are just glancing away from Lyroon, even as they charge forward to stab with their spears. They're just periodically locking onto Nanto and just...
Am I not good enough for you guards? I feel insulted. How dare
You're like
you?
thinking like, maybe Johnny's onto something with this guy.
just more distracting. And Johnny's still standing there, still looking appalled at everyone's actions on all sides. And just like, guys, I was just showing them a tour. And he just seems sad, really, at the outcome of today. But
Oh, Johnny.
meanwhile, downstairs.
He's the real victim here.
He is the real victim. And he will
I mean,
have...
him and Phil.
Ooh,
Phil's
ooh, ooh,
fucked.
go back to the bald guy.
No.
I mean, I'm just
So
saying this. Johnny will likely need therapy after the spell wears off.
Rav.
Johnny, be good.
Very good. So I'll just go to Lou. Think about what you're going to do. So, Ravenous and Haller, you've gone down the stairs. You've got a guy tied and stunned between you. What do you do?
I will now
Howard's gonna go.
search. I will now search the keys if he has it on this person.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
Oh boy, my best stat.
Ravenous, what are you doing while Hala's searching for keys on this man's person?
Well, there was
Wait.
talk of more guards, and we're in Bikini Bottom.
Welcome to Bikini Bottom.
Oh, the sounds.
Wait. Are you at the point where you can actually transform? You can make 3 people invisible now.
No, two.
Two.
Just two.
Okay.
I only got invisible the first time.
Okay, I just imagined what happened if you could get 3 of us invisible right at the end of that battle once they managed together.
That'd be a good one.
So,
Would be a good one.
what are you doing, Ravenous?
16.
So
Investigation 16.
16 is good.
Nice. I'm going to go back onto the ceiling and peer to see how many guards we are looking at through the gap.
So you're
Well, I was
gonna
about to say, like, the best thing that we can probably do is, if I can, sneak that guy through over there, even worst comes to worst, we could, have him and you go invisible. And
Problem is, you don't have telepathy to tell me that.
yeah, I can whisper.
That is true. You can whisper stealthily at me.
How? I have a mouth.
Who has a
I forgot
mouth?
the word.
Disgusting.
Or better yet, I just point to my head and then point towards yours.
Yeah, I think.
And then I just go, "What you want, bitch?"
But no, I just did the investigation. 16. What did I get? What did I find?
Yeah, so you're rummaging through his pockets. You find 10 gold pieces, but you do also find a set of keys. What look like fairly rusty, thick iron keys. There's a ring of them. There's 4 keys on the ring. You don't know which ones correspond to which locks.
The unfortunate thing is evidently that's still probably that straight where those guys can see them. So we're gonna have to act fast.
Yeah, so you certainly. In the meantime, Ravenous, while you're rooting through his pockets, Ravenous has been clambering onto the ceiling, using his slippers for spider climbing, and then you're making your way down to have a look to the west. Is that right?
Right, yeah, I just want to have a peer through the gap.
I see.
Stealthily.
Yeah. So give me a stealth check. That will consume your action, FYI.
Yeah, fair dues, fair dues.
But it was a very good investigation check from Hala.
I can't seem to get it to roll for me. Hang on, come on now. This.
I can.
D&D Beyond, if you don't sponsor us, I'm gonna give you a shameful review right now.
Painful review.
I can show you how to
can't
roll it.
myself.
I can show you.
There.
Yeah, there we go. So 23.
There we go.
Apparently, rolling through D&D.
Nice.
I think this is it. I think rolling through D&D Beyond breaks Avray somehow and gives you just.
I haven't rolled
Except-
beyond once. I've been rolling on Avery the entire time.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
rolling Avray.
Except I've been rolling terribly.
And also, the last couple of rolls I did were like a freaking 8. Like,
All right. Calm down.
We're good.
So, so Ravenous, while you're watching Hannah just root through this man's pockets, who's tied up and stunned and just sort of groaning.
see what I'm working
He's-
with.
He's like groaning incoherently, and there's like slobber pouring out of his face onto the steps. You just like, okay, he's taken care of, and just walk up onto the wall, and then along the ceiling, and making your way down south towards those 2 open areas we can see to the west. Let's see what you find.
It's a party. I immediately call Nanto to make confetti.
A party, yay! I'm very experienced at this.
No, I'm glad I took that. I'm glad I was cautious.
Yeah.
Oh, girl. 2 Black Knights.
You don't know the nature of these Black Knights, but what you do see is one guard, simple guardsman, in fairly common guardsman attire. He's wearing like studded leather armor. He's got a spear, and he's just sort of sitting, but still at this central table, and you can see 2 fellows in thick plate metal armor. They're sitting at this table. They don't seem aware They don't seem concerned. They're just playing
However,
cards.
they're gonna start to notice that their
Y'all
friends.
can be quiet. We are squishies, okay? You guys at least have at least one tank.
What I'm thinking though is that their friends are gonna start to become concerned that their friend sort of went off to talk to this prisoner and never came back. And
That's the point. That's why
Yep.
like we have to act fast.
Well, yeah, how are we going to act fast, though? My concern here is that there's a nice little quaint area that Hunger of Hadar could be a very good asset.
I mean, Hunger of Hadar is always a good asset, but you know.
Always a good asset.
I don't have the ability to do it this turn because I've used my action, but next turn, I mean, if they start looking like they're rousing, I mean, Hunger of Hadar.
Milky tentacles.
Face my whisper.
Milky tentacles all up in there.
Question: is there a door?
So actually,
Are you
sorry,
saying
where I
open?
stopped her actually is the door. She would have continued on to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a door that you've walked past, and then there's these two. It's similar to the cell doors, like grates.
Okay, so that's a separated area from that corridor.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great
Interesting.
doorways that you're able to see through. You've got a very good stealth check, so you're able to see through. And you're on a ceiling, so you've got a lot of advantage anyway. You're just sort of looking, you can see there's these two plate metal people sitting in chairs playing cards, and one regular folk. But they haven't seen you. They don't seem concerned that their guard's friend has disappeared just yet.
Yet.
What do you do?
Oh, I can't do shit because I've used
I
my
just
action.
point out this lovely music we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good.
Because essentially what we would have to do is we'd have to figure out a means to lock the door, and
Okay.
none of us have arcane lock, so we can't pull off what old boy did apparently.
So my first action would be to telepathy to Hala to inform her of the situation. So I would say closed room, 3 folks, 2 nasties. That is my communication.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I can do with that information because again,
I'm just updating. Well, you could reply being like, "Bitch, get your ass back here! Come on."
I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out what I want to do.
Okay.
This is it. So, in summary, it seems like a situation beyond the capabilities of the pair of you.
Okay.
Like the only thing I can think of is like closing the doors and then just hopefully I would have the keys to lock it, but again that's a 1 in 4 shot.
Hopefully you have the keys.
Hopefully
Yeah,
there's that
She
too.
has the keys. She just doesn't know which one opens or closes that lock. Luckily, I can open it easily enough with my amazing ability to be a thief. The locking part, that's a little bit 1 in 4.
Okay. I mean again this is the dangerous thing because like the best thing I can sit there and do is like try to get him out because at least he can sit there and vouch and then assuming just to get this out the dang way just so we're on the same page. You find anything up there? Telepathy. Just to get it out the way, just so I know that you have stuff.
Oh, okay, I get you. Alright, I thought you were talking about what was going on in the room. Yeah, okay, so how many words would I have in the time frame, Sam?
Oh, it's not like a sending spell where you have 25-word limit or anything.
No, but it's like between the conversation, like it's
I would say like a sentence or 2.
Okay, I'd probably end up with, I have some damning evidence. And that's probably all I would need to say.
Then we need to get him out of here, and I point to the person in the cage.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the bloodbath up top.
That is the best we can do at this point, and after that,
do I have any movement left to head towards Hala?
Yeah, I'll allow you like 10 feet. You can get about
actually
that far back.
I would get to actually where Ravenous is, so that just in case things get south real quick.
Okay.
Because I think like
Forward thinking.
yeah.
I mean, the guy you stunned, that's a 1-round stun, just FYI. So he's tied
Ooh.
up, and you
Yep.
He's
gagged him.
He would have to at least make a I know like for the rope it's like a DC 17 strength in order to get out.
Did you shove something in his mouth to stop
Yeah,
him talking? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so it all depends on how he rolls, but you know, we'll see. So, I think that ends your turn, Ravenous.
That would indeed end my turn.
Oh wait,
Okay.
guys, actually no, thinking about that, yeah. Could I just knock him out? Just
I mean,
for the sake of it?
you can just start wailing on him while he's tied up. Certainly, I mean, you've got a lot of advantage. I'll say incapacitated, so it's auto crits if you're able to hit.
God.
This is just, I mean, it is cruel, but it works.
No, he needs to be quiet. he needs to have a nap.
Go for it.
Beat the out of him.
Let's see what you do.
14
guy's-
damage.
This guy's tied up. Can I just beat the out of him?
And then
Um,
auto crit, right?
Yeah, so it's auto crit because he's
So-
effectively paralyzed because you just stunned him and then hog
So I'll
tied him.
reroll the one. I'll reroll 2d6s.
So, 8, 16, 24. 24 damage. So yeah, he's tied up. So plus is your initial damage. What was your initial damage?
The damage was 14. The initial damage when I hit him. Scrolling back up. What did I
It's at
do
11?
here? I did 8 damage.
Hmm.
I can still hit him one more time with a bonus strike if he's not down.
Oh my god.
It made me choke.
Look, they did that,
Um,
my friend. No mercy. Well, I'm being as
Okay.
merciful as possible.
So it's 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus what was your original again? Sorry.
So we have 14 plus 8 plus 8. So 16 plus 14.
Okay, so yeah, 30 damage. So yeah, the initial blow, you just wailed him on the, I think it was the coccyx, I specifically said, and he just immediately was just like flailing ineffectually across the staircase. And then watching Ravenous scamper up the wall and along the ceiling and taking the sides and then communicating telepathically, like, okay, I need to take care of this guy. Wham, 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 wham. And he's just wailing on this poor guy. He's utterly unable to defend himself. And it's just a repeated blow against the back of his skull, basically. It is brutal. And if you had any sympathy for such a guy, then you'd be feeling bad. But he works in a torture dungeon, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, with that kind of context.
Soundproofed torture dungeon.
Yeah, with that kind of-
Exactly. Torture.
Yeah, maybe it's not as bad, but still, I wouldn't party like that. So.
Yeah. Thankfully, the rest of the party's out of sight and out of mind. So, wham, 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 wham.
Doesn't give any fucking shit.
With a final punch, his forehead cracks against the stone of the staircase, and he's unconscious.
Oof.
The animated guards watch. They don't seem concerned because you've just announced the password repeatedly, and apparently that's all it took.
That was in the
Really,
mind.
they just watch.
We just watched.
And enjoy it.
My.
Okay, so now
Basically, you're
now I go to
insinuating-
Ravenous. Now I go to Ravenous, and that will be my turn.
Okay, so that is the end of your
You're
turn.
insinuating that the armor are into voyeurism, but that's okay.
I mean, you take on the aspect of your caster. But anyway, so so
No.
guardsman is out of action. There are 2 black guards and 1 regular guard down there. Regular guard that had gone to investigate is out of action. It can presumably only be so long that they watch this guy disappear and not be a concern. Meanwhile, the guys upstairs have entirely much worse issues in mind because they're being overwhelmed by other guardsmen. That is the end of the guardsman's turn. That is the end of... that is the end of your guys' turn, so that'll bring us to the guardsman's turn. I think that is where we end the session, because we're at 20:09.
You just a killjoy.
So unfortunately, we don't get to you, Flair. Sorry, we don't get to Will just yet.
He told you.
Oh, you ruined it! Although we guessed.
No.
Yeah, it's a pretty obvious guess. But we'll see. Next session, hopefully we'll get to her.
Yep.
I think I'll pause the Western music. No,
Nope. Still not pausing.
there you go.
It's still going.
And it's finished now anyway.
The music has ended, but we're still going.
No,
I think
It hasn't finished.
the music is dictating that we should continue our journey.
there you go. Good enough. So, hopefully you enjoy that. So it's somewhat precarious situation. You got some who have captured a guardsman easily and taken him unconscious, and there's a pair of animated guards who are just watching you do this and not too concerned just yet. Meanwhile, upstairs, you got a very different scene playing out. A lot of guardsmen. There's one black guard who's looking very weak on his feet. Pretty much.
Can you change him to a slightly greyish colour so I know which one it is?
Yeah.
Yay.
This guy. I'll change to a. There you go.
That's
Nice.
too dead. Nah, he needs to be a little less dead than that. Because that looks like a dead person to me.
Oh
Well,
my god.
I don't think it. Seeing as you're not in this combat, I don't think it actually affects you. So.
Excuse me, could I have a bit
Maybe.
of bluer grey than that? It's
If
just
you
a
could
bit too
put a-
monochrome for me.
If you could put a slightly red tinge on that scenario, that would be great.
Ah, that would be great. Hey, did you get the memo I sent, by the way? I'll send it again, don't worry.
Yeah.
No,
I-
we'll circle back to that later.
I actually
We'll circle
can't.
back.
I can't easily make him darker grey than
We'll
that.
put a
So,
pin in that
so
for
you're gonna
later.
have to deal. But in any case, so you got one black guard who is severely wounded right in front of you. You've got a bunch of guards. Most are in relatively okay state, but they're listening to Nanto's words. You've got the painting that has neatly
Son of a bitch.
been disabled. You keep flopping onto its face. So I'm
Keep
just
getting bitch slapped by telekinesis.
just gonna highlight that in orange so you can see it.
Oh my
But
God,
yeah,
that's where it was. Literally did not even see it. This entire
too subtle. And he just keeps getting flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. But yeah, he's no longer able to participate in the battle thanks to Nanto's antics. But you get two heavily
Semantics.
heavily damaged pair of martial classes trying to take the front line, but there's just a bit too many guards rushing inwards. Meanwhile, the other two members of the party, they're downstairs and they seem to have found the sources of various troubles, but there's other priorities at work. So we'll see what happens next week. We'll see if you're able to Hodor. We'll see if Nanto is able to reach the end of his performance, at which point he'll be able to charm his charisma modifier's worth of audience members, which is 3.
Hey, could we level up to 8
Oh,
real
good
quick?
God, is that it?
Could we
Yeah,
level up to 8?
Level up to 8 in the meantime.
Yeah, can we just level up to 8 so I can get
Just
another
skip a
one?
whole level in the meantime. But
Yeah.
the good news is he gets to choose which out of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens.
Also, Ravenous, extra point, those 3 do get a save.
True.
Yeah.
If they all save, we are in a slight bit of trouble.
I mean, you're in a
Yeah,
slight.
if they all save, we're kind of boned.
Oh, good God, so it wasn't even a guarantee.
No.
Alright, I'm all for the poetry slam. It's all good. Positive vibes. Whoop, whoop.
It's
I
definitely
mean, what are the chances that they save? I mean, like 0, so
It's
we're fine.
I mean, it
definitely
depends
gonna be
how good
fine.
your poetry was. Ugh.
As someone who rolled 3 nat ones in a row, 0 is quite a big number.
That's big.
I mean,
0 is quite a big number.
in all fairness, you
Funnily
know,
enough, 0 is infinite.
in all fairness, I will be taking into account that your performance check for the poetry
Was
slam was a
20.
nat 20. But we'll see how it plays out. Maybe you'll be okay on your own, maybe you won't. But you've got an entire mansion's worth of guards bearing down upon you. You can charm 3 of them, but you get to choose which 3.
Again, I can choose 3, and then I can just make them just go away. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Or you can make them fight for you.
Well,
No?
so the description specifically states that they do try to interpose themselves between you and other people trying to hurt you.
Perfectly fine
Hmm.
with me. If you put those 3 to be right in front of Laroon, where he currently is,
Yeah.
They become the new
works.
Phil.
The new meat shield. And you've already
Exactly.
got one who's trying to meat shield. So, you know,
Johnny has been a treasure, and I do respect him.
yeah,
As my
it's
family.
just standing there looking condemningly upon the others. And yeah, it's a pretty weird situation, to be honest.
Yeah.
We'll see how it pans out. So,
Yeah, welcome to Players. We are going to make the situation that you could never plan for.
I mean, really, there was no way to plan for this. So, we'll see what happens
Let's
next
do it
week.
all over again. 10 sessions later, we will be finished with the scenario.
I think, well, we're at 7 or 8th turn. I need to sit down and actually count it. But I think you're most of the way through. So we'll see what happens next week. So yeah, they're upstairs trying to charm them, trying to hold the door. Downstairs, meanwhile, they're trying to explore and work out, and they've seen there's a couple of the Black Guardsmen who look pretty scary because they're in plate armor, and have just knocked out the guardsmen that they've taken away. They've seen prisoners, or a prisoner at least. Seems to be this more to Lord Flashheart's manner than meets the eye. We'll see what happens next week. So thank you, everyone. I'll call the stream there, and we'll pick this up next week.
Later.
There we go. Cheers. Subscribe and all those various things that you're meant to do.
Like, comment, subscribe,
Don't
ring
pull
that
the
notification
buttons.
bell, sub to me on Patreon, check out my OnlyFans, mean everything.
Check out the OnlyPans account. Cheers.
Check out my OnlyFans.
Ah!